not just a case. You're not just a client. You're a person, and you deserve support. You deserve simplicity. You deserve communication. When you hire an attorney, you deserve clear, risk-free advice that guides you to the best possible outcome in your injury case. And that's exactly what the advocates have been providing for over 30 years. After your accident, you deserve closure. You deserve compassion. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, The Monty Show, live on your YouTube machine Thursday, November 20th, 2025. And bros, I need a vacation. You ever just get in that place where you're road raging? Oh, if that happens to you, call the advocates. If you get hit by a road rager, there's going to be a lot of people on the road, including Jake, burning through national parks with his straight pipe catless POS. Get into an accident, know what to do. Call the advocates. 24/7, 365. The advocates are ready to serve you. Slow down. There is going to be so many people driving with the way that money is and jobs are and airfare is. A lot of people driving to their Thanksgiving destinations. Please be careful. If you're on the road, think safety first. Just slow down a little bit. Take your time. And if the worst happens, just know the advocates are ready to help you when you need it and where you need it, how you need it right now at theadvocates.com. 24/7, 365. And the best part is you never reach into your pocket to get clear, risk-free advice. Because when you go to theadvocates.com, you don't pay unless and until they win your case. Let them fight the fight that they've won so many times on your behalf at theadvocates.com. Jacob.
Hello.
Pretty average to see you in the life vest today.
Thank you. Yes.
We're going to wear anything other than a vest on the show ever. Maybe just.
I mean, I can work in a quarter zip, but I don't want to steal your mojo. You know, I know you're a big quarter zip guy, so you know, I stay in my lane with the vest. You know.
So now it's insult Monty Day.
I mean, I didn't
insult Monty Day.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
The monkey just wants you, you know.
Yeah.
Jason says, got my bucked up today in the mail. Thanks, Monty. Let's go, buddy. Appreciate that. Make sure you get to buckedup.com. Their Black Friday sale is already underway. Get 20% off when you use the promo code Monty. M-O-N-T-Y, Monty. I love my bucked up. It is 10 grams of creatine every day. Today, I was up late last night working on my Amazon Black Friday sales launches and monitoring my ads. And so this morning I was tired. So what did I do? Pop 10 grams of creatine monohydrate from buckedup.com. Boom. It's wild that when you understand how creatine helps your brain work, you're tired, take a hit. Just give yourself 6 ounces of water in a glass. Pour that creatine in there, stir it up, chug it, boom. I'm telling you, good to go. Good to go. Steely says Jake is going motorboating.
Okay.
As always, year of Jake, 12-month calendar of Jake and puffy vests. Wow.
The victory has already been won.
Only in the puffy vest.
Right.
Chad, that feels kind of erotic and stuff.
I pray for moments like that.
You know. I drank a bucked up smoothie, whey protein isolate and concentrate banana blueberry oat milk, no carbs, no trans fats. Boom.
Yeah, nut milk is always a good way to go, bro. Absolutely. Yep. What?
Why do you say stuff like that?
Like what? He said he had oat milk. What?
You're
I don't see a problem.
You are such a weirdo.
What?
Why do you have to make everything like awkward? Chad Carter says the Iraq.
Yeah, dude.
Iraq.
The Iraq.
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as, and I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. or should help South Africa and should help the Iraq and the Asian countries. So we.
Sit your ass down. Your time's up.
I just listen to like the first 5 seconds are gold.
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are.
I personally believe that U.S. Americanos.
Americans.
See, this is what you do.
Nut milk, dude.
I mean,
that's just what it is, dude.
And you guys all think Lane Kiffin causes commotion. Look at Jake dropping nut milk. and now it makes Chad Carter a child.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it just I don't know what else to tell you, dude. It's just
you gotta get stroked.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, dude. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Nut milk in the Iraq. Bro, I need a vacation.
The Iraq.
It's like we're a week. You guys, yes. Do you guys understand that U.S. Americans will be fat and asleep on turkey a week from now?
Yes.
How on earth did we get to a place where Thanksgiving's a week away?
Like, for instance.
How? I am. Have you guys, has that sunk in yet that Thanksgiving is a week away? And I'm stunned by it. And I don't know if I'm just at that place where I want everybody to get off my front lawn
Iraq.
or what it is, right? But I feel like the year just has gone by so fast.
It has.
God, dog. I also have to sit through my daughter's dance practice, so y'all are getting extra chat today.
I'll see you in Valhalla.
Bro, Jake and I have sat through so many of those. All right, Cassidy's performing at Disneyland, guys. Nobody cares. But we're going to go because that's what we were told to do. And I like sex. I'm married. I'm going to go. That's what that is, right? Almond milk sucks. Oat milk doesn't. I actually like oat milk. I drink oat milk once or twice a week.
Why aren't you referring to it by its proper name?
It's called oat milk, and it's mainly because I like women and stuff. And you're making me go into a place I don't want to go. I, for one, am thankful for nut milk in the Iraq.
The Iraq.
Totally unscripted, off the top, just.
How do I put up with this every day? I honestly, I don't know. Almond nut milk is elite. Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate that. Like, what am I supposed to do here, man? I have nowhere. Yeah, tofu is not fish, just so we're aware.
Yeah.
It's fine. I appreciate all of you. Don't forget, we're off next week. New Mexico Buckeye. Never been in the chat before, but this chat and show are absolutely the best. Kills me every day. I appreciate that. Case in point, my rack. Your rack.
Not the Iraq, my rack. Yeah.
And I am here for it. I am here to keep Miss U.S. Americans alive.
God bless.
Because I think she is a gem.
Yeah, Miss Teen South Carolina,
U.S. Americans.
Oats and oat milk. God damn, you are just not right, boy. Exactly.
Sorry,
No, boy, you are in a dance recital, aren't you? No, I'm not playing your stupid game. Hey, man, listen, Monty, before we get into Lane Kiffin and where he's going to peen out, can you just explain to me how many holes are in a straw?
Because, listen, I mean, if you count both ends, technically it's 2, but they're both connected. So doesn't that mean that it's 1 and just one end is submerged?
Because when I put a straw into my Captain Crunch soup, I just want to know how many holes I got to watch out for. Yeah, you think I didn't see you coming a mile away? On the ocean? No, it's not. Okay, tacos are hot dogs. Corey says, just played that clip about the Iraq for the guys at work. They are literally
Iraq.
everywhere. Ah, it is so good. It is so good. Don't start with bananas because Jake gets all uncomfortable. When we bring up bananas on this show, Jake tends to get weird.
Quite frankly,
You know, like I love the monkey.
Yeah.
I do love the monkey. All right, focus. We are off next week for Thanksgiving. One more show tomorrow. And real quick, speaking of the Iraq, is this not the worst week of college football that we're going to have? Probably, well, hopefully, because then the season's over. But you really have two games. You've got USC and Oregon is by far the game of the week.
Mm-hmm.
It's got everything on the line. Like, I think it's a huge game. BYU at Cincinnati, very clearly, I think is the only other game worth a fleck on the schedule. But this has got to be the worst week of college football of the entire year. I think this is worse than like the August week 0 stuff we go through.
Yeah, I just think there's nothing compelling. This is the week you want to go out of town and not watch college football. You can get away with it. Now, I wouldn't recommend missing USC and Oregon, but other than that, there's not much to write home about.
You're not. Why are we not going to the USC Oregon game in Eugene, Jake?
Because I'm driving down to SoCal.
Because you're going to be out. So USC comes to Oregon and you nut milk out of town.
Well, you know.
That didn't work.
Yeah,
I tried.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
That did not work. I would love to go to that game, but yeah, travel and family. Family gets in the way of everything. Doesn't it? Yeah, exactly. College football is broken. I want to get into this because, dude, I heard Urban Meyer doing an interview where Urban Meyer agrees with me, and I never thought that good old Bar Groper would agree with me on anything. But Urban Meyer was talking about how Lane Kiffin is not at fault. And I said this entire week, I don't believe that Lane Kiffin has done anything different than any of us would have done in his situation. And I think Lane Kiffin, whether it's been Stuart Mandel, Josh Pate, everybody piling on Lane Kiffin as a scumbag for, causing all these problems, and which I think is ridiculous. I think if you're Lane Kiffin, when did Ole Miss become destination Hall of Fame last stop on your resume? When did Ole Miss become this job where, he's at Ole Miss, why would he leave? When did we get there? Because I don't think we're there. I don't think Ole Miss will ever be there. And it sucks if you're a Reb, and I understand that you love Ole Miss and you love Ole Miss football, as you should. But that doesn't mean what Lane Kiffin's doing is treasonous. I'm listening to SEC Network today, and I'm hearing people talk about how Donald Trump should be talking about Lane Kiffin and sedition. And it's like, are you out of your mind? It's LSU, dog. LSU calls your phone and says, we have a $120 million compensation package for you. Look, man, I'm an Ole Miss. Are you kidding me? I'm an Ole Miss. Why would I even take your call? Like, when did Ole Miss become this job that nobody ever leaves?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it is. But I agree with what you're saying. Like, I do think that some people are treating it that way, but I don't think that this is about Ole Miss at all. I think that, exactly. Lane could be anywhere. Lane could be, Lane could be at Raleigh Technical Institute. If he was competing for a CFP championship and he was the hottest name, he'd be the hottest name. I mean, that's just what it is. So Ole Miss is just sort of the man in the middle here, the place where he is, that he's had a ton of success. I do think that because Ole Miss is a power program in the SEC, the conversation around access and money and all of that is one that Ole Miss folk is going to try to die on the hill of. But ultimately, I think that.
Oh, wait. Is Ole Miss a good job?
Yeah, I think it's a good job.
Wait. Is Ole Miss a good job, or did Lane Kiffin make Ole Miss a good job?
Well, I think Lane's made it a better job. I think Ole Miss was always solid. I think it is always been regarded as a smaller school, in the SEC.
It is,
obviously,
and it's the state of Mississippi.
Yeah, but I think that it's an SEC job and you have access. The issue has become that, the big dogs are hungry, right? LSU is in that group of SEC schools that I would consider to be the big dogs in the SEC. And when they're hungry and they need a guy, they've got what they need to go out and make that happen. And so this is to me just the pecking order. This is the totem pole of power in the SEC, where it's like, hey, if again, when Bama came open, Lane wasn't exactly the first option on the table, I don't think, last year, or 2 years ago, I guess that would have been now. But
when they hired Brian Kelly.
Yeah, no. When they hired Kalen DeBoer, when Alabama came open.
Yeah, you said Alabama. Yeah.
So when Alabama came open, it wasn't, nobody was saying, hey, Ole Miss is this and Ole Miss is that. And
Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, like nobody was saying that. But he's had 2 good cycles here where he's been winning and recruiting and doing everything you want to do, and the meltdown with BK at LSU happened. Yeah, put guys in the NFL. So I don't think it's necessarily that Ole Miss is like this can't miss, like last job on your career path type job. But I just think Lane Kiffin is the hot commodity that everyone's after. So inherently, Ole Miss becomes this thing where it's like, hey, I'm Lane Kiffin. I've got it all set up here already at Ole Miss. Do I leave what I've already established for LSU, or do I just keep going? I mean, that's what he has to figure out.
I think it is incredibly unfair that we are, and it's all of us. We're vilifying Lane Kiffin. In my opinion, we are vilifying Lane Kiffin for doing what's best for his career and his money. And I'm a big fan, and we've talked about this on the show. I think in this country, we're terrible about shaming rich people. I think if you're rich, we want to shame you. And why do you drive that car? I saw a $700,000 car last night, which I saw a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, black badge Cullinan Emerald last night. One of 5 of those cars are on the planet. 5 of them. And I got home last night and I was looking on the internet. It's worth $710,000. And talking to the valet, he's like, yeah, there's one of the Seahawks owns that car. I went to a restaurant opening last night.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Great. Oh, we should talk about it. It was fantastic. But my point is, I'm in awe of that. I'm like, kick ass, dude. Absolutely. But we tend to shame the rich in this country. Lane Kiffin is not doing anything wrong, in my opinion. Nothing. He's not talking about this. When he used Pat McAfee like a trash bag, if you will, to go on and dispel the ultimatum thing yesterday that we talked about, Lane Kiffin's doing everything right. Talked about his running back. Talked about how the Egg Bowl is going to be amazing. Didn't talk about LSU because he wasn't asked. Didn't talk about Florida because he wasn't asked. But Lane Kiffin isn't talking about anything but the Egg Bowl, his players, and Ole Miss. Is Lane Kiffin the one out here putting on Twitter the LSU corporate jet? No. Is Lane Kiffin talking about his family going places? No. Lane Kiffin's laser focused on the Egg Bowl, as far as we know. And yet we want to vilify him for talking to LSU. It's one of the 3 best jobs in the country, man. Even with idiot face governor and no athletic director, allegedly. It's one of the best jobs in college football. To the point, notice everybody picked up on what I said yesterday on the show. Remember I said Lane Kiffin's out on Florida, that it's Ole Miss or it's LSU? Chaboy told you that? No. Well, Monty.
You don't know ball, dude.
What's being reported widely today? Yeah, Florida's moved on from Lane Kiffin because they know they're not going to get him. It's LSU or it's Ole Miss, and I think it's LSU. Right? Lane Kiffin's handled it perfectly. He has disrespected nobody. Yet we're talking about Lane Kiffin shouldn't be allowed to coach the Egg Bowl. Lane Kiffin shouldn't be allowed to coach his team if they get to the college football playoff.
You understand that they wouldn't go to the CFP if he wasn't their coach, right? If he left right now, Ole Miss is out of CFP. You get that, right?
I think this is an interesting argument because this is one that everybody is on. Should Ole Miss be left out of the college football playoff if Lane Kiffin is not the head coach or not allowed to be the head coach at Ole Miss? If let's say Lane Kiffin coaches, because what I think is going to happen is I think Lane is going to take that job after the CFP. That'd be my guess, because you don't do that to Lane Kiffin, whether you like Lane or not. Lane Kiffin loves his players. Lane Kiffin takes care of his players. Lane Kiffin has done nothing but respect Ole Miss, the brand, and the people in Oxford. I can't see Lane walking away from Ole Miss, and I can't see him not taking the LSU job. I think if I had to put ducats down today, I think he takes that job after the playoff. But if you're Ole Miss and you can't handle the fact that, hey, yes, I'm taking the LSU job, but we need to keep that under wraps so that we can continue to recruit at Ole Miss, so that you can move on about replacing me, but so that we can win a national championship or do everything we can to win a national championship for Ole Miss. If you were to say no to that, you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ole Miss has never been this good. Ole Miss has never been this relevant. Do you understand what he's done just for recruiting, uniforms, and sex appeal of the Ole Miss brand? And you're going to say to him, you can't coach the Egg Bowl, boy. No, you're not. No, you're not. I think that would be a huge mistake.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't know how you do that. I think that's just not. That just feels like another one of those rumors, hot shot kind of takes. That people wish was true, but is not even close to true. Just feels like it's hey, like we're pissed he's leaving. He shouldn't coach in that bowl. He shouldn't do this or do that. And I just think this is what we do nowadays. We got to tear people down and say a bunch of negative stuff about dude just to feel better. So I just think that, if a team loses its head coach, there's a lot of people are going to say, well, I mean, the head coach doesn't make the plays, but the head coach does call the plays and the head coach does set the standard and set the culture. So I don't know, man. I just think that I would tend to agree that I don't think Lane's going to put him in that position. And I just think that, anybody who is in the middle of that thing knows the best solution would be for him to finish his business this season. And the moment the whistle blows on the last game that they're going to play, then he's out. And, I would not even be surprised if Lane Kiffin, told players or, and they kept it internal, but informed everybody and told them what was what. And they played with the, hey, this is our last run together. Let's go out and do something. That would not surprise me at all.
If you're the CFP and you are selecting teams in the playoff, you have every right to leave Ole Miss out if Lane Kiffin's not there.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sucks. That sucks if you are anybody related to Ole Miss. And I understand why that would frustrate people. But when you look at the bracket that we have, when you look at this bracket, bro, it's awfully difficult to think that Ole Miss beats Miami and then beats Texas A&M. And, you look at the way that this would play out with Lane Kiffin. I could see them going to the national championship game through that bracket.
Yeah.
I think it'd be Alabama and Indiana. I would take Alabama to beat Oregon. I would take Bama to beat Indiana. And
okay,
I would
you think Bama beats Oregon at Autzen?
I don't love Oregon's defense, man. And I know that you tend to
suck at a ding dong.
Okay, well, there's that. You tend to do that. But we tend to disagree on Oregon. I don't love Oregon's defense, man. They don't get after the passer. And Ty Simpson chose to have his worst game against a defense that tends to make quarterbacks have their worst games. Oregon ain't that. Oregon ain't Oklahoma. And I think when I look at Ty Simpson and you give me a defense that doesn't rush the passer, he is going to eat you alive because he's got 2 tight ends and 4 wide receivers, and he's got a bunch of fat asses up front that already block pretty well. And then when you don't rush the passer, it's what I always tell you. Oregon has few sacks and a ton of passes defended. What does that tell you? Quarterbacks have a lot of bravado and confidence going up against Oregon, and justifiably so. You disagree with me on that?
I mean, I don't disagree entirely. I just think it's a lot to ask, in my opinion, for Bama to travel across the country to play in that environment in a postseason game and get a win. Now, that said, I think Oregon definitely leaves some to be desired on the defensive side of the football, but they've also got a guy who's pretty good at quarterback and can definitely make plays and hurt you. So, to me, I think it just comes down to health, and that to me is a pretty tight game. I don't think that's one that's easily predicted or would be anything more than like a 3-point, favorite either way, favored towards Oregon at that point. I don't think it'd be that far apart.
I think Alabama's significantly better than Oregon. And it's not an anti-Dan Lanning thing as much as because I actually really like Dan Lanning. It's a joke on the show for all you new bloods. Jake lives in Eugene, Oregon. He is a huge Dan Lanning. I wouldn't call you an Oregon fan. I think you're turning this into an NBA thing, which is weird to me. But I think that you're a Dan Lanning fan. You're not necessarily an Oregon fan. Mm-hmm. Jake doesn't have any allegiances. He's kind of a football free agent because, well, that's what millennials do, because why would you pick a side, right? But I think it's one of those things where I love Dan Lanning, and I actually think Dante Moore is one flipping heck of a quarterback. I just don't know where Oregon comes up with stops, because Alabama's got some dudes that can play a little bit. And I look at Dante Moore. Dante Moore is not a mobile quarterback. And what's the one thing that gets rectal for Alabama's defense? Go ahead, say it.
Yeah, I don't know that I would agree he's not a mobile quarterback. He can run.
Well, I didn't say he can't.
Then what do you mean he's not mobile?
What I'm telling you is that when you look at Dante Moore is far more dangerous in the pocket than out of it. And I think that when you look at the way that, because I think and I'd have to look it up. And so if I say something wrong here, please don't. Monty, you don't know Paul. I would guess he's got less than 300 yards rushing this year. And I'm gonna guess he's got less than 70 attempts and less than 250 yards rushing. Dante Moore with an E at the end. Dante Moore stats. Dante Moore, 48 carries, 183 yards. Averaging 3.8 yards a carry. So I'm going to say that he's a pocket passer. I mean, that guy's he's throwing the ball 254 times. Mm-hmm. Jesus, do you guys know how good Dante Moore is at throwing a football? And yes, I understand I've throat stretched to this dude all season, but 185 completions, 254 attempts. That's 73% completions. 2,190 yards, 21 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. God damn, that dude can throw. So I'm not saying he can't run. He is not a dual threat. Dante Moore is not somebody that... Now, is he Fernando Mendoza who don't ever leave the pocket? Of course not. He's not that guy either, pal. But having said that, I think it's something where you're not scared of him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I just think that, I guess what I would say is, the way I'd characterize it is, he doesn't run a lot because he hasn't had to. I mean, I think that there's definitely been a lot of conversation about him staying in the pocket too much and not running enough. And not, but at the same time, I think, I think the Indiana game exposed him a little bit. Like, he was unwilling to leave the pocket fast enough. His timing wasn't correct. His internal clock wasn't correct. And so he got sacked a few times because they brought the pressure. So
Dante's taken, but dude, and we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
He's taken some.
Yeah, he has.
Dude.
He has. But I think that Will Stein and company need to do a better job of designing plays where they're rolling the pocket and moving him.
Okay, I agree with.
I mean,
the problem is, and I don't know why we're like all up into the rectums of,
because I think when you look at the CFP, we're talking about it, because when you look at the CFP and you look at Bama and you look at some of these other schools here, the Ole Miss path, I think, is pretty straightforward. I think that, if Oregon wins 2 and then loses to Ole Miss, that wouldn't be surprising. If Oregon wins 1 and loses to Indiana, I think that's awful for Ole Miss. I think Indiana's a tough matchup, for anybody, for Oregon, for Ole Miss. I mean, they're just super physical, so you got to be willing to have a different mentality when you play them. But I think that the reason we're talking about Oregon is because of all these teams.
They would lose to Alabama.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the thing, is like, would you actually win that game? I'm inclined to think that that's a one-play game, because it would be at Autzen,
But the problem is Alabama's offense, and this is we should leave it after this, but Alabama's offense is so dominant passing the ball. No, it's really not good running the ball at all, boy. That I feel like Ty Simpson would just. Kalen DeBoer is such a good coach, and I know you guys want to fire him and all that good stuff, but Kalen DeBoer is such a good coach, and I feel like Ty Simpson's doing so many things. And I should look up his numbers again, but I think he's close to 400 attempts on the season. And I think that, like, for a guy, I know he's got 22-2, which is ridiculous. Ty Simpson's 226 of 338, not 400, 338 attempts. 2,787 yards, 22-2, and 67%. On 338 throws, he's 67%.
Yeah.
Which is stupid. I mean, I just think that matchup's not good. So, anyway, at the end of the day, yeah, I do see a path where Lane can take, because Lane's got a much more balanced offense. His defense isn't what it was last year, but they're still really good. So I would take them to beat Miami. I think I would probably, that Texas A&M game. Whoo, dog. You're probably leaning Texas A&M, aren't you? I mean, that would be really tight. That'd be a game of. Mm-hmm. And then I think it would be anyway. I can see a path for Lane to go to the semis, and if you're in the semifinals of the college football playoff, you're playing for a national championship.
Yeah.
So you cannot, in my opinion, you cannot just take Lane Kiffin out and say, "Oh yeah, that's the same Ole Miss team." If Lane Kiffin leaves before the playoff, I have no problem with them saying, "Yeah, have fun, because you're not going to the playoff." Like, I would have no problem with the committee saying, yeah, we can't put Ole Miss in there.
Right.
Even if they were, let's say, Lane Kiffin leaves and they hire Jon Summerall, who I still maintain is going to get the Auburn job. But they hired Jon Summerall, really good coach, ready to hit the. Nope, sorry, dude. Can't do it. Can't. Nick Saban takes the Ole Miss job. Nope, can't put him in the playoff. Like, it's Lane's team.
Yeah.
You have to let Lane Kiffin coach that team. Have to. It's not fair to blame Lane Kiffin for this. But the world's not fair. I totally get it, right? The world's not fair. You cannot vilify Lane Kiffin for this. We do this shit all the time. Now, is there a conversation around how can college football prevent this from happening? Yes, because if we're going to screw kids into one portal that's in February, why are we allowing coaches to take jobs in November and December? That's what this is. We have no problem at all, limiting kids in the times that they can move. We have no problem with that. But we have also no problem not limiting coaches to when they can move. Make it so that you cannot hire a coach during the football season. There is a coach hiring moratorium from kickoff of game 1 to the end of the CFP. The minute the clock expires on the CFP, you can sign a contract. Because that's the only way you're going to avoid this. Oh, but fair trade, Monty. And okay, well then let kids transfer and play in the same in the same year at different schools.
Mm-hmm.
How's that going to work out for? Oh, that's right. Rich white guys don't want the young black kids to get money. I forgot. Why not apply the same rules to players and coaches?
Yeah, I
We
mean,
would not be doing this right now if that were the case.
Yeah, I mean, I think the hard part is that, you know, the thing with coaches is they're always going to be ahead of the players, right? I mean, because obviously players want to play for certain guys. So, you know, I think there's some of that, and you could certainly have a window, I guess. But you know, the reality is, you know, I just don't know why it's so hard to understand. Like, yeah, you know, he's going to coach while this process plays out. You know, Ole Miss can go find another head coach, and people just got to deal, man. I think that's part of it. Is like, you just got to kind of deal with it. I just don't think it's that difficult to be like, yeah, he's going to coach the rest of this season, and then depending on what he decides, he'll stay or he'll go. Like, it just is what it is. You know, I mean, it doesn't have to be, you know, it doesn't have to be this rocket science concept or idea or process. It's just, I don't personally feel like it's that hard to go that route and deal with that. I just don't. I think it's a pretty straightforward process. And I think people like to make a big deal out of it and play the victim card when the reality is dude's probably going to go to LSU, and Ole Miss is going to know about that before anyone else knows about that. And they're going to have time to go hire a guy, you know, or start reaching out to guys. And it is what it is. Like,
breaking news for you. We'll come back to this. Breaking news. Mack Rhoades has officially resigned as Baylor athletic director. We talked about this, I think, yesterday on the show. Your initial reaction to this story. Now, you remember Mack Rhoades was put on leave or went on leave after multiple accusations of misconduct, allegedly. And now, according to reports, he has informed Baylor that he is no longer the athletic director. He has officially resigned. Jake, your immediate reaction to this story?
Yeah, I mean, I want to know what he did. I want to know what are we really talking about? You know,
are we entitled to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you're an athletic director or a public official of some variety, yeah, I mean, at some point it's going to come out whether he wants it to or not. At some point, the public will know. And you know, hey, maybe we're not entitled to that now. But when you ask me what my reaction is, that's my reaction. I want to know what happened. What led us to, you know, Mack Rhoades having to resign. I mean, clearly you did something. Clearly you had, you know, because you're an AD, it was either you had knowledge of something that was illegal, or you yourself did something that you should not have done. So, yeah. I mean, it's just one of those two. That's what it is. And I'm just curious. I mean, Baylor is certainly not immune from scandal. We all know this. We all remember the scandals from yesteryear. And I think that it is, you know, Baylor is a black eye on the Big 12 right now, bro. And there's not really a way to get around that. And I think that, you know, the CFP really puts a highlight on this concept and really starts to show you, hey, like, your conference is losing out on a lot of revenue because you guys, you know, Dave is the least of their problems. when your athletic department and your leadership is awful and, doing bad things, like how can we expect you to win anything? And so the concept that, Baylor is, what are they, like a 4-win team or a 6-win team or whatever they are, the fact that you're not a good team is not surprising. And I just think that there needs to be some type of process in place to put pressure on individual universities inside of a conference to perform, because guys like Mac Rhodes, who are now having to resign from their position, are not responsible figures. They are not high character people. And because of that, now you're in a bad spot. And so now we're supposed to be like, oh, woe is me, Baylor, poor Baylor. No, dude, I'm not here for that.
Baylor.
I'm not here for that. You're more than happy to be an average ass football team, and by extension, an average ass athletic department. You haven't been good in basketball in a minute. So you can't even die on that hill. And now your athletic director is resigning. So I just don't feel like I don't feel like the Big 12 is in a position where you can have stuff like this happening if you want to survive long term. This if I'm Brett Yormark, I'm looking to use Baylor as an example of like, hey, we gotta, this is not good enough, and we got to make change.
I think Baylor has been a perennial disappointment in this league for the last 5 years. And I understand that they've had the one-off. I guess when did Baylor win that basketball championship? 2020. And you look at under Dave Aranda, and really, I think this is the real issue. Baylor football has not been competitive enough for many years, in my opinion. And I look at they went from winning the Big 12 in year 2 of Dave Aranda. They've been invisible since. The last 3 seasons, they have been invisible. And this year, they're invisible again. And you look at what the 2020, 2021 athletic year was like. You won the conference in football. You won a national championship in basketball, very near each other. And then you have just been average ass as hell. And I think obviously with what you were able to accomplish with Matt Rule in his final year, because didn't they go like Matt Rule 11 wins, Dave Aranda 2 wins, Dave Aranda 12 wins, and then just nothing. And you didn't fire him after last year. So it's not like he's been doing a good job. Oh, that's right. You can throw out the question of does wins and loss matters, because allegedly Mac Rhodes is not a good human being. And here we go again with a Baylor story where we have somebody in charge of young men and women's development being a complete jackwagon. Welcome to Baylor and the Koresh style management of Baylor University. And I don't understand this league. And we talked about this yesterday ad nauseum on the show. At what point does this league raise the bar? How are we in a position where BYU and Utah are driving the league in football, with Texas Tech, who's only driving the league in football because they put their foot on the gas into the modern era and they're spending the money required to do so? With Oak State, Baylor, TCU, Iowa State, K-State, Kansas, irrelevant. And yet the Four Corner schools absolutely playing a pivotal role in the push in this league. You have Arizona State going to the CFP last year. You have Arizona rapidly improving. You have one of the best basketball teams in the country in Arizona. You've got BYU football. You've got BYU basketball. You've got Utah football. All of this new blood outside of UCF, you jerks. Houston and Cincinnati pushing the league forward. Yet you've got all the original members of this league just terrible. Terrible. and now your athletic director resigns at Baylor. And if you do not fire Dave Aranda now, when will you? When will you? At what point are we going to say it's not good enough? It's just not good enough. And I don't know when if it hasn't happened now in Waco, and I think that's the perfect example. If you're in Waco and you're saying to yourself, what's the state of Baylor athletics? Not fucking good enough. That's the state of Baylor athletics. You quite literally are preventing BYU from going to the college football playoff on a at-large bid. And their resume, I would point out, BYU's resume, as I argued yesterday, is significantly better than most of the teams ahead of them. Yet because they're in the Big 12, and don't forget the magic underpants and the bigotry of folks, but mainly because you're in the Big 12, you're not going to get that at-large bid. That's what sucks about this league.
Yep.
I don't feel better. They hired Chip and Joanna Gaines as the new AD. Why? Well, listen. What is their brand called? Magnolia. Look, this is the Magnolia Athletic Field.
Butthole.
Stop. Are there so-called metrics used in CFP selection? Supposedly, yes. However, where can they be found, and why aren't those weekly update metrics released to the public? That's one of several issues. It is. But listen, again, the problem with the CFP is it's still a bunch of crusty old people sitting around a table using their opinions. Did you win enough games to get in? Oh, you didn't? All right, better luck next year. That's what the metrics should. Did you win enough games? Did you win your division? Did you qualify for a wild card? Did you win the AFC championship? Did you win the NFC championship? Did you beat the other conference champion? You're the Super Bowl champions. Congratulations.
Stay hard.
It ain't rocket science. Crown a champion. Oh, we can't do that. We can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of, and this goes back to why the Big Ten wants a 24-team college football playoff, where they get 4 and you get 4 and they get, so that your crappy middle of the road team gets into the college football playoff. Who's in favor of that? Oh, you know who's not in favor of that? Greg Sankey in the SEC, who want nothing to do with 24 because it waters the product down.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'm not in favor of 24 either, but I do think that there's a path to where, and you could do this with less than 24, obviously, but this concept of deciding it on the field in terms of who gets in and who gets out, you have to have a way to, you have to have a way to say, okay, what you do in your conference actually matters. So, like, I don't know why we don't just do, hey, the top, the top 3 teams or top 2 teams from each conference get in, and then it's just a random seeding, whatever you get, random matchups, and whoever wins and whoever loses, right? I mean, we're sitting here talking about like 24 team formats, and we're trying to make this thing as big as possible. And in my opinion, it should just be like, yeah, if you're, the conference champion, and then, you've got the second place team, so basically if you get to the championship game, you're going to the CFP or something. I don't know. There's ways to do it to where we wouldn't need a selection committee. Like, there's ways within
Totally agree.
The current format to
100%.
say, again, if you win because I don't love this concept of the conference championship game is meaningless. I hate that. I think that I understand the auto bid thing, but ultimately saying the loser of the championship games isn't punished, I think is ridiculous. I think it should be.
It's not.
It's not true. It's not, and that goes back to the bias. But I think it should be, hey, like if you win your conference, you're in, and then from there, the loser of the conference championship game has to play that next week. And, the other people get a bye or whatever you want to do. Like, we're so enamored with selection committees.
It's got to be the NFL playoff model.
Yeah, but the problem is that that's too small for college football. That's the issue. That's why nobody wants it.
Listen, you can make it larger. I'm okay with a 6-week college football playoff. I'm okay with an 8-week college football playoff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with a 30-day championship bracket.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is 4 mediocre ass teams from the Big Ten getting into the college football playoff every year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, because you look at if you want the Big Ten to have 4 auto qualifiers, and you look at the Big Ten standings right now, you would have Indiana, Ohio State in. Okay, none of us argue with that. But should USC and Oregon be in the college football playoff right now?
Yes, Oregon should be.
No, they should not. No, they should not.
They're already in there. What do you mean?
I still.
What are you talking about?
I don't believe, and I've said this before. Look at BYU or Oregon. Who's got a better resume? BYU by a lot.
And nobody's confident BYU would beat Oregon, including myself.
Oh, I totally disagree. I think, again, I'm going to go back. I'm just going to keep going back.
Right.
Who is Oregon? But what's the big quality win for Oregon?
Penn State.
That's not a big quality win anymore, right?
Well, yeah, we don't do any more. At the time, it was. That's what we do with resumes. Hey,
okay, so they've got one.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to Indiana.
Yeah.
Convincingly.
Yes.
Right? And that game, but that game was in Bloomington, right?
How was that, Autzen?
You lost at home to Indiana, and you got handled. Okay, BYU's resume. BYU, they beat Iowa State. Didn't Iowa State beat Iowa? Who Oregon barely beat?
Doesn't matter. They beat them.
Yes. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Oh, I think it absolutely. You beat them 18-16.
You can't sit here and say Oregon doesn't have quality wins and then try to make a case that BYU does. BYU's got lost the only team that matters.
BYU has wins over Arizona, Utah, and I agree. They got their ass beat, which is what the committee is saying. Oh, they got beat by Texas Tech. Well, then what are we saying about Oregon and Indiana?
That Oregon has another win that they can stand on, and BYU doesn't.
Yeah, they do. They beat East Carolina, who's in contention in the American.
Come on. I'm not trying to be an asshole, dude. That's a ridiculous take, dude.
Oh, come on.
You can't say that East Carolina is a good win.
Yes, it is.
That's not good enough.
They're contending for a conference championship
at the group of 6 level.
Okay, bro,
well, but,
you can't make it. It is what it is. BYU beat Iowa State, right? BYU beat Iowa State handily, 41-27 on the road. So doesn't it matter that Iowa State beat Iowa, who took Oregon to the limit? That matters. I'm sorry. BYU's resume is significantly better than Oregon's, in my opinion. And I don't even think that
you're not convincing anybody that BYU's beating Oregon. Nobody would agree with you. They would have to prove that.
I think that's completely wrong. Again, what's the biggest issue at Oregon? They don't have a pass rush. They do not have a pass rush. And the one thing that Bear Bachmeier showed us is he can throw the football when you don't pressure him.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Okay, so if we're being fair, then if we're going to sit here and we're going to sit here and defend BYU, then what you did against TCU is nothing special. That's one of the worst defenses in the Big 12 and has been that way for 2 years now.
I would agree with
let's not sit here and say that what he did against TCU is what he'd do against Oregon's defense.
Right. I understand. But BYU's a one-loss team. And their one loss.
Who's better, Oregon or Texas Tech?
Texas Tech.
Okay.
Are you disagree?
Yeah, I disagree with that. Yeah. You've sat on this show for 3 weeks bashing Baron Morton, and you're going to sit here and try and tell me that Baron Morton's going to be good against that defense. Come on.
I didn't say Baron Morton was better than Oregon. That's not the question you asked me.
You're saying that Oregon can't score on Texas Tech's defense enough to beat them.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. I think Oregon can't handle physicality. We've seen that multiple times. And when you look at Oregon, look at the games they've struggled in. What's the only thing that Wisconsin does well? They punch you in the face. 21-7, Oregon beat Wisconsin. One of the worst teams in the country. I would remind you, Wisconsin 21-7. Where was that game? At Autzen. So we can go down. If you want to call Montana State, Oak State, Northwestern, Oregon State, those are 4 just not good teams.
Okay.
And then you beat Penn State in overtime. Good win on the road. Indiana beat your ass. They physically handled you. At Rutgers, Wisconsin, at Iowa, Minnesota. BYU's got a better resume. BYU's got a better resume. Okay. I am that's shocking to me.
You're never going to get me to you can sit there and make a case about Iowa State and you know, but what you can't do is say, hey, well BYU somehow is more deserving of being in the CFP when Oregon beat a team that at the time was ranked, I think, number 3 in the country at that time. And then the best competition BYU's faced, they weren't competitive. And both the issue is that we're sitting here talking about, okay, well, Oregon's worst loss is at home, and I agree with that. That's a terrible loss. You can't have that. And I said that at that time.
I'm telling you.
But you're taking that and you're penalizing Oregon. And what I'm saying is if you're going to use the physicality argument, I'm going to use the Bear Bachmeier argument.
You're asking me if Oregon played BYU, and let's say it's on a neutral site, not in Provo, not at all
neutral site.
If that game's at AT&T in Dallas, BYU's winning that game.
Yeah, see, how can you say that?
It's really easy how I can say that. They're fucking physical. BYU will pound you up front. LJ Martin is inarguably the best back in the Big 12.
If he's healthy.
And it doesn't matter. He's on the field. He is playing. I don't care if he's healthy. He's on the field. He is inarguably the best back in the Big 12. And I think I can make an argument he's the best running back.
He's not healthy enough to be the best back, dude.
Right. I don't care if he's healthy or not. He's producing. He's on the field. It doesn't matter to me if he's healthy or not. I don't have to ask if he's healthy. He's on the field producing. And what I see is one of the best defenses in the country, statistically and schematically. They've got one of the best linebacking duos in the country. And the other thing that you have to keep in mind is BYU secondary has dudes who catch the football. So they're more physical than Oregon. They cover. And again, I'm just going to point out, the matchup sucks for Oregon across the board because Oregon doesn't rush the passer, and there's only one thing that Bear Bachmeier does well throwing the ball. You don't get after him when he is not pressured. I think he's rated like a 74 when he's not pressured. And where is his go-to throw? Right behind the linebacker. It is a terrible matchup for Oregon, and I think BYU wins that game. If it's at Autzen, I think it's a closer game. I think it's a toss-up. If it's in Provo or on a neutral field, I'm taking Oregon all day. Even as good as Dante Moore is. And again, I go to that Wisconsin game at Autzen because that's the one thing that Wisconsin could do is push guys around, and they push them around. Oregon won the game. But I think Texas Tech's defense is why they're winning games, because I am not a Baron Morton fan. But they're also really physical on offense. They run the football pretty well, and Baron Morton's good enough to beat you. At home, he's definitely good enough to beat you. Now,
Do you understand, dude, do you understand? You're sitting here talking about Wisconsin pushing Oregon around. Do you understand that Oregon ran for over 200 yards in that game, and Dante Moore threw the ball 15 times?
Yes.
They weren't trying to put up 40. They were not trying.
The final score was 21-7.
But your argument is that Oregon's not physical, and they put those guys in the ground. They ran for 200 yards. Like,
okay.
We just disagree.
I disagree. I watched most of that game.
You cannot factually say that Bear Bachmeier is a big game performer and in the playoff would have a great game. TCU defense is not a good example, bro.
I think Bear Bachmeier's gotten. I'm not here to tell you that Bear Bachmeier's ready to win a national championship. I'm not here to tell you that. What I'm here to tell you is, with what he's got around him, he's got 2 elite wide receivers. I mean, I just think BYU wins games. And I say the same thing about the beloved. I love the Irish. I am a diehard Notre Dame fan. We are matchup dependent. It's why we beat the hell out of Pitt, because Pitt is not able to compete with big boys up front. But there's one truth and one reality about BYU football. They are matchup dependent. And when you allow their offensive line and you allow because they're the one thing that BYU is really good at is motioning their wide receivers and their tight ends into blocking schemes. And they run that counter with LJ Martin. Oregon doesn't have an answer for that defensively. They're just not built that way defensively because they're not aggressive at the point of attack because they don't have the dogs up front to do that. I don't think that BYU is a national championship contender. Remember the basis of this argument. We're talking about resumes. BYU's resume is significantly better than Oregon's resume.
And that's where we just completely and utterly disagree. And that's the conversation.
I think
we can't sit here and say that the Big 12 is a trash conference day after day and that your conference is not good enough. And then say that teams like Arizona or, whatever mid-tier Big 12 team you want to look at on their resume. And, and the same goes for Oregon, but you don't get that benefit of the doubt. I mean, I know that
10th in strength of record, BYU's 5th.
Yeah.
5th. You understand that I would agree strength of schedule because of Penn State being ranked where they were ranked. That leans to Oregon. But you look at the numbers and I just think I think BYU's resume, and I've tried to find ways, but even the Massey has BYU ahead of any.
But aren't they next to each other with strength of record? Do I remember that correctly? I was looking at this.
No. Strength of record, BYU is 5th, Oregon is 10th. BYU is 5th in strength of record. That's why I'm telling you their wins are good wins.
Yeah, maybe they are, maybe they aren't.
And it's not a maybe thing when it comes to the metric. That's why I'm saying I am a big
you're
believer.
Just going on numbers. You're not going on what they've done before.
I'm not. Listen to me. I am telling you, when you get into these discussions about who's in, who's out, take your emotions out of it. The truth is, Oregon doesn't have a cement awesome win because that Penn State win is tainted. I am as convinced of that as I have ever been. And I have said this all year. They're fatally flawed on defense. They're going to get the benefit of the doubt. They don't have to worry about people talking about their magic underpants. They get the benefit of the doubt. BYU does not. That's what this conversation is. Because you go look at the metrics, you go look at the strength of record, you go look at all that stuff. It all favors BYU, in my opinion. So I just think, and we can agree to disagree. Here, no, there. Neutral site, I'm taking BYU by probably 6 to 9 points. I think they could win that game. So, but again, I'm happy to. Let's get into the comment section. I'm sure you guys all. Thailand agrees with you, Tony. BYU is not more physical than Iowa. I totally disagree with that.
And strength of record, BYU is 6th and Oregon is 7 right now, according to ESPN. So they're right next to each other with record. Strength of schedule is let's see. Strength of schedule, ESPN has that a little different. ESPN's got that as BYU's 26th and Oregon's 31st. Remaining strength of schedule. So I mean, it's
remaining strength of schedule.
Yeah, I just think it's Go ahead. Anyway, yeah.
My point is, I think but like this idea that BYU is not more physical than Iowa. That's crazy talk.
I think the whole physical thing. The reality is, okay, Wisconsin's physical, Iowa's physical. You both lost, right? Like BYU's big issue is they just played one of their worst games against Texas Tech. So now we'll never know how good their top end actually is.
Their biggest weakness is Bear Bachmeier. He was not prepared for that environment. The defense played actually really well.
Wow.
It did. There's go back and look at it.
I watched the game. I know that they worked their ass off. It's just hard to, when we're talking about resumes, it's hard to be like, well, they played well and gave up 35. That's tough.
They didn't give up 35. Hate to break it to you. BYU did not give up 35. They gave up 29 points. And I'm not saying BYU's better than Texas Tech. Offensively, BYU did not compete in that game. They did not compete in that game. They could not run the football. In that game, LJ Martin averaged, I think, 3.5 yards a carry. But let's not sit here and pretend that the numbers in that game were completely skewed. They weren't. Texas Tech only put up 368 yards on BYU. It's not like they put up 450, 500. Mm-hmm. Right? You look at time of possession. Time of possession was dead even in that game. And if we're being technical about it, it was BYU 30 minutes, Texas Tech 29 minutes. Right? You look at turnovers. BYU turned the ball over 3 times. Can't do that. Cannot do that. How many times did Texas Tech turn the ball over? 0. Bear Bachmeier was the problem in that game. I think they had the same number of penalties or something like that. It was not a blowout. And again, I would say the same thing would happen against Oregon. I don't think BYU's blowing Oregon out or Oregon's blowing BYU out. When you're as talented as those two are, and again, I'm going to say when Dante Moore is your quarterback, it's awfully difficult to get blown out. But what the difference is, I don't think that Oregon can stop the run after the catch in BYU's offense, because the matchup for Oregon's defense against what Bear Bachmeier does well sucks for Oregon's defense, because he throws it underneath and you have got wide receivers that are in the right place all the time. And Oregon struggles with that.
Yeah, and I think what's really interesting too is like when you look at just the rankings we have, whether it's coaches poll, the AP, ESPN's FPI. I mean, obviously there's a lot of different, just like we're having in this conversation, I think there's a lot of different viewpoints. Like ESPN's FPI says that Oregon's 3rd and BYU is, whatever they are, they're next to Ole Miss and Oklahoma. But like Ole Miss and Oklahoma, to me, are better teams than Oregon is this year. So I just think it just depends. It just depends what you're looking at. But I guess I just feel like my personal opinion, the stats may disagree and maybe I'm wrong, but my personal opinion is that BYU has to show that they can beat national powers still.
I'm a BYU fan. Now
I don't know
I'm
who
a
that guy
BYU
is.
fan. So your ego's invested. Now I'm a BYU fan. How many BYU fans were coming in here telling me I hate BYU?
Yeah, I can personally attest, dude's not a BYU fan, bro.
I am nothing but a Notre Dame fan.
Yeah,
welcome to the show.
Yeah, I think the difference is just to me, it's this thing where you're big on stats, and I don't blame you for that. Stats are, obviously tell the story, whether you're a good team or a bad team, what you do well.
I am big on tendencies. Stats paint a picture of tendencies, and you can take those tendencies and you can build matchups. And when you look at the tendencies and you look at BYU's tendencies and Oregon's tendencies, this game will be lost with BYU's offensive production against Oregon's defense. That's where this game will be won and lost. Because the other thing that Oregon doesn't do is their wide receivers don't go running by you. Look at how many throws. And this is a great indicator of this. Look how many throws Dante Moore makes to tight coverage. You want to know how good Dante Moore is? I think he's got, on throws where there is no separation, I think he's got the highest completion percentage and rating in the country of any quarterback, because his wide receivers don't separate. And against BYU's defense, you're going to really struggle with that. You're going to really struggle with that. Tell him, Jake, he's stupid. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm not saying anybody's stupid. We're allowed to disagree.
I think Texas Tech would eat up the Oregon O-line. I think.
Yeah, I think Texas Tech has one of the best defensive lines in the country. But I think the thing that we like to do is we like to say, oh, well, look at the numbers, look at who they won and lost to, and this is what they do in the matchup. And I also like to throw in there, hey, well, what did you do in a big environment? What did you do? Because that's the thing about the playoff is that teams who aren't there all the time with regularity, right? Teams like BYU who are trying to get there and were on the precipice last year, just didn't quite finish the season, but this year seemingly are going to be there. They're obviously going to finish the season strong. I don't think anybody denies that or doubts that or has questions about that.
Yep.
They're going to be in the CFP. So the question remains, again, to your point, I'm not even sure Bear Bachmeier is your biggest problem. I don't know what the hell that was out of Parker Kingston at Texas Tech. I don't know. I don't know what that was.
He didn't do that before, and he hasn't done it after. I mean,
but that's my precise point, bro.
Yeah.
That's my precise point. In a big game, in a big environment, hey, look what happened to this team. Now, again, hostile environment, or probably, different conversation, right? Probably neutral site, you're probably in a little bit different of a situation. But I just think that if you haven't been there and won that big game yet in the college football playoff, you're going to have those jitters. It's going to feel like a massive moment to you. And I also think that there's value to that you can't measure by a stat sheet or whatnot, So I think that I also include that. And I think teams have to prove that both in coaching and the actual players, because we've seen how many times with, the Kirby or the Kirby and the Saban rivalry over the years, the Brian James Franklin, right? What better example? There are just guys out there who can't do it, and we don't know who Kalani is, man. We don't know yet.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see it. I don't know.
We'll have to see.
I don't know. I think, proof is in the pudding, man. If Oregon loses, because I think this is going to be a really interesting test. Because USC is the best offense that Oregon will face this year. There is no question about. They're clearly the best offense in the Big Ten, and Oregon's a 10.5-point favorite. I'll be interested to see how this game plays out. And
dude is the best quarterback since Mendoza for Oregon. Certainly,
I would agree with that. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
But, what do I know, right? I'm a BYU fan.
Right.
Caitlin Collins just texted Jake, Bama is better than BYU, Texas Tech, and Oregon. But the problem for Bama is this is that same argument, right? Bama loses to Florida State. That's a bad loss. That is a bad loss. It's one of the reasons that I think Bama's where Bama is, because you can't lose that game to Florida State and then turn around and lose the way they lost this past week. Like,
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
You just can't do that. And it's also like, I look at, I don't know, Indiana beating Penn State. Why did Indiana beat Penn State? Because Fernando Mendoza's been there and done that. Right? I mean, that to me is that's part of this argument. But I think this idea that BYU doesn't have a resume and BYU can't compete and BYU, like, that goes to my point that I think college football is broken. I honest to God, I think it's broken. And I agree. And I want to play this Pervin Liar clip on Fernando Mendoza, because I think Fernando Mendoza is the only reason Indiana wins that game.
Yeah, they play kind of like their two joker structure, where it's a little similar, and they have this middle safety who is really reading off the quarterback's eyes and really playing off that speed. And so we had speed of the field there. We had number 3 Omar Cooper Jr., who made the fantastic catch. Yeah. And so when I caught the ball, I looked over there and I saw his hips and eyes turn. So at that point, all I knew, I needed to just beat that boundary curl defender and beat that boundary safety. And once I saw that safety go over the top to the outside receiver defending the whole shot, I just knew that I needed to put some arc and layer on it over that hook defender, after that kind of like the hook curl defender, in order to make that completion, because I knew the other guy, the Joker, had his hips to the speed.
I got
Fernando, do you see Coach's face right now? Hold on, look at your face, Coach Meyer.
This is like the best shit I've ever heard.
This is what I'm saying.
This is
Fernando, look at his smile. This is as intense and.
Yeah, finally, I'm not the only one singing the praises of Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, the intelligence is off the chart, no doubt about it.
But I think that's why when you look at matchups, that's why this year Indiana's in a better position to compete for the CFP than they were last year. They couldn't throw the ball with effectiveness last year.
No question about it.
This year, you're better than Notre Dame. You run into Notre Dame this year, you're going to beat Notre Dame, right? You run into Ohio State, you're going to be competitive with Ohio State. I don't think you can beat Ohio State, but you're going to be competitive with them.
Need, though. That's the matchup we need.
I think it is the matchup we need. I just think that it's one of those things where we as football fans don't take the time to watch film and look at tendencies and matchups. I think it's the only way to judge teams is when you really go and look at the way, again, and I think people are on my Bear Bachmeier take now. I would hope. He's the ceiling at BYU. Their defense is elite. They're really good up front. They cover really well. They're playmakers. Their linebackers are elite, right? What's their biggest issue? Bear doesn't read defenses, and he can't throw you to a win. He's their ceiling. I look at, and it's why the Big 12 is horribly flawed. The Big 12 does not have the complete package team. They do not. And I don't think there's any question Texas Tech is the best team in this league. That's not even arguable. And they don't have a quarterback who can go into a pressure cooker and throw a football.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that everybody likes to say, well, he's hurt and he's got the fracture in it doesn't matter. He's on the field. And he being hurt, the fracture in Barron's leg is not why he struggles in big games. His brain is why he struggles in big games. It's why he struggled at Rice-Eccles before he got hurt. Because you saw what happened. They brought a quarterback in and they threw the ball all over the field. What's wrong with Utah? Utah can't throw the ball effectively down the field because they don't have skill position players. What's wrong with Texas? Texas has the quarterback and they don't have an offensive line and their wide receivers can't separate. Horribly flawed football team. What's wrong with Ohio State? Nothing. Best wide receiver package, really good quarterback, really good offensive line, really good defense. What's wrong with Georgia? Gunnar Stockton's their ceiling. Well, what's happened? The ceiling's climbing, isn't it? Gunner's pushing that ceiling up because now he's throwing the football really effectively.
Right.
Why is Ole Miss better this year? Well, I can tell you straight away why Ole Miss is better this year. They're running the ball and they're throwing the ball. And for those of you who still don't believe me on Ole Miss, because I know I was told I'm an idiot, you might want to go look at how much better Ole Miss is, because Trinidad Chambliss is their quarterback and Kawan Lacey's their running back. Because that might be the best quarterback running back combo in the country. Because Kawan Lacey, and I hope somebody finally believes me, Kawan Lacey and the way that Lane uses him in that offense, he's one of the best backs in the entire country. That it's the LJ Martin at BYU, that counter cutback play, devastating to defenses. So I look at matchups and tendencies. Oregon's not elite this year. Notre Dame's not elite this year. Miami was never elite. Do you hear all these rumors that Mario Cristobal's frustration is growing? Today I'm listening to ESPN, and they're talking about how Mario Cristobal's frustration with Miami is growing. And he went home because he thought there was going to be an on-campus. Oh, dude. Really? We've seen that movie before.
So predictable.
Right? No, I agree, Benzo. Cincinnati does not match up well with BYU at all. At all. Cincinnati, I think, is getting exposed. The BYU at Cincy game this weekend will be very interesting. Huge game. This is again another opportunity for Bear Bachmeier to show you, because I think he's really good on the road. I don't think the road plays with him at all. And climately speaking, BYU's not going to be worried about what is the weather in Cincinnati going to be. Weather. You look at Saturday, it's supposed to be 53 and bright sunshine. And that game's a night game? So you're looking at 44 degrees at kickoff.
Yeah.
That's not going to bother Bear Bachmeier. The kid lives in Provo, Utah, man.
Right.
Right? Like this is an opportunity for Bear to go to Cincinnati and show everybody that he's pushing the ceiling up. And I think he is. We talked at length about what they needed to do last week. What did BYU need to do last week? They needed to get Sonny Dykes fired, and I think they might have done that. They took their soul. They took their courage from them.
Don't give TCU too much credit. I'm not confident they're actually going to do something about their head coaching position.
Which is frustrating.
Yeah, but I agree with you. All jokes aside.
Yeah. Well, Marcus makes a great point. Our guy Marcus. Dante Moore is so good he can beat most teams. Just not teams that have elite defenses. And I agree. I look at Dante Moore, and obviously some of the hits and that's what worries me. And I don't know why we got derailed from that conversation, but you look at Dante Moore's game log, and he just does not throw many interceptions. What's the game where he threw multiple interceptions? Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When did he throw that other interception? Iowa. Those are the two best defenses they've seen. So you at some point, right? And and to their credit, they went to Iowa City and won, which I think is huge. And I don't care if it was a point or 2 points. That's a good win in terrible weather. They ran impressively against Iowa. Now, I think Iowa also got exposed a little bit up front there, because you look at Iowa, I think what is Iowa? 4-3 in the Big Ten. Their losses are USC, Oregon, Indiana, and Iowa State, the four best teams they faced. Iowa's not a good team this year. They're not somebody, and everybody wants to talk about how all of Iowa's losses are one possession losses. Candies and nuts, bud.
Yeah, I mean it no longer becomes oh man, dude, you guys are good, but you just lose one score games. That's what everyone said about Lincoln last year. It's not good enough. Like, you lost all those games.
And it's not accidental that the line is, Indiana 8-0, Ohio State 7-0, and then you have 3 6-1 teams. And where's the point of delineation in those 6-1 teams? Well, it's USC and Oregon, because Michigan's wins are New Mexico, Central Michigan, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Washington, Michigan State, Purdue, and Northwestern. Who are their losses? The only two teams they've played, Oklahoma and USC.
Right.
Michigan's not a good football team. They beat bad teams. So their 6-1 is not Oregon's 6-1. But what am I going to say about Oregon? Oregon's wins are Montana State, Oak State, Northwestern, Oregon State, Penn State, Rutgers, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Minnesota. What's their loss? Indiana. The one good team that they saw. That's the story.
See, I disagree with that just slightly. I think it's very harsh to say the one good team they saw. Penn State was number 3 in the nation at the time.
And that's what I'm saying. They won that game. They ended Penn State. How far do you think you're the Oregon slurper here now? Because remember, I'm a BYU fan, so now you're an Oregon.
That inherently makes me a Ducks fan.
How far can Oregon go?
I mean, I think that if you're looking at their season and what they have left, I mean, the USC game makes or breaks them. I mean, I think if you lose to USC, I'm not sure that you're a playoff team. I mean, I have to say, like, looking at the bracket, you lose to USC. I mean, how are you still in at that point? How are you still, how can we include you? I think that I would take Oregon in a tight one with USC. I'd probably take Oregon by a field goal, but we'll see. We'll see. If they win the last two, I mean, how far can they go? That's really tough to answer. I'm inclined to think that Alabama isn't as bad of a matchup. I think that would be a slugfest. I think that would be very much a back and forth. I don't know how to feel about Alabama after this Oklahoma performance and turning the football over and, just all the stuff you didn't do in that game. Really, I was pretty pissed off after that Alabama game. I mean, I can't even deny it. That was very frustrating to watch. But, again,
you really were pissed off after that.
Yeah,
game.
I just think that Alabama to me before that game was by far a better team than Oklahoma. And now you have to ask questions about Kalen DeBoer's ability to have his team ready to go in a big game. And that's what's frustrating because
you really wondering.
Yes, dude, you can't turn the ball over like that. That's an embarrassing performance, dude. You dominated them on the stat sheet and they won the game because you gave them like 4 extra possessions. I mean, that's unacceptable, dude.
Kalen, well, I know this is going to hurt your feelings. Kalen DeBoer beat Dan Lanning when Dan Lanning's teams were at their best.
Okay.
Well, that's not easy to do.
Yeah, well, that's last year, right? Now is this year. So
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah,
2 years ago.
Sydney Sweeney's body, Governor Landry's face. Could be. Absolutely. Alabama lost to FSU. Stop. But again, when do we apply the rule evenly?
What rule is that?
Like, are we really going to make the argument? We don't think that Alabama is one of the 12 best teams in the country.
Not if they lose again. No,
if they lose again, they're not. But right now,
I mean,
right. I argued this yesterday.
Yeah.
My opinion is that the top 5 is the top 5. I don't have a real problem with who's in the top 5. I would have Georgia 3rd. I'd probably have Georgia 2nd, but whatever, right? I look at 7 through 10, and I would not have Notre Dame there, and I would not have Oregon there. I just would not. I would have BYU. BYU would be significantly higher, and USC would be significantly higher. I do not think that. I think Alabama is one of the 7 best teams in the country, and I think we don't follow the rules because we don't like the rules when it comes to Alabama, who everybody hates no matter what, right? Alabama's 2 losses are to Oklahoma and Florida State in week 1, Florida State. And I agree. Is that a good loss? It's not a good loss now. But is Oklahoma a good loss? There's never a good loss at this time of the year. But if you're going to lose to Oklahoma, Oklahoma had better be the 8th team in the country. Are we really going to knock down Alabama out of the college football playoff for losing to Oklahoma? Because that's what we're doing.
Yes, because you played one of your worst games at one of the most important times of the year. That matters.
Okay. So if they beat Eastern Illinois and win the Iron Bowl, they're in.
Yeah, they're in. Yeah. Right now they're in. Yes.
So as an 8-1 SEC team, they're in. There's no question about it.
Yes, no question about it. Yep.
Okay, what happens if Georgia loses to Georgia Tech? Which I think is a real possibility. I think that is, what is that, next weekend? Next weekend. And that game is pretty sure that's at the Benz Dome in Atlanta. Neutral site, if there ever was one. How far does Georgia fall? Georgia has to be out of the top 10 then, right? No, they won't be. They won't be. Right? So we don't apply it evenly. If Oregon loses to USC, are they out of the college football playoff?
Yes.
Okay.
I would have them out. If you lose to USC at home, you're out of the CFP. Yeah.
Does that put USC in?
Yes. It should. Yeah. Because Oregon was 7th. Yep.
Okay. And what about this Texas A&M game?
I mean, I don't think
is Texas beating Texas Tech good enough to put Texas into the college football playoff?
No, Texas season is over, in my opinion. I would not have them in. I think that A&M, I don't remember who A&M has in the matchup right now for the CFP, but that's all you're playing for here. You lose this game, you're not out of the CFP. You're just hurting your seating. You're hurting your position.
Yeah. What if BYU loses in the conference championship and Utah wins out?
Yeah, allegedly you don't pay a price for losing in the conference championship game, but I personally, again, my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, I don't buy that. I think if BYU loses again at all in any form or fashion, they're not going to the CFP. That's my opinion based on how they were treated last year.
I would agree. I think if they lose, they're not going to get in. That's just the way I think BYU's plight in life is.
Yeah.
So, Jason says need to do away with AP preseason rankings. They were bad. Well,
but what does that matter though? I've seen this a bunch this week.
This has been a huge talking point on the show.
They don't matter. Like, who cares? Honestly, like, just because you were ranked in the preseason doesn't mean that you somehow had some huge advantage. I mean, I just disagree with that. I mean, if you're a good team, you're going to be there. If you're a bad team, you're not. Like, we've seen, like, Texas was there, and now they're likely not into the CFP. Like, I don't think anybody believes that it's an auto win for Texas this week, or somehow this is going to be some close game. Nobody believes that.
Against A&M, you mean, in 2 weeks?
Yeah, against A&M, or in 2 weeks, yeah. Against A&M. I don't know, man. I think that what we don't want to say, the inconvenient truth is that what you did last year and when your reputation as a program year in and year out absolutely plays a role in the bias of the committee. I mean, again, Alabama or Georgia or Ohio State as an example, those teams are going to be treated differently. I mean, you can make a damn strong case. Notre Dame, yeah, right? Like, Notre Dame, perfect example. Notre Dame's in the conversation every year.
I'll still say, and I'm a diehard Notre Dame fan, I do not believe Notre Dame's one of the 12 best teams in the country today, right now.
But if it came down to Notre Dame or an also-ran that's having a great year, Notre Dame or, if it was, hey, we're looking at two teams, Notre Dame and Georgia Tech, to get the final spot, Notre Dame's getting that nod. Right? Like, that's what we do as people, that we don't, it's auto programmed into us. We can't just say, oh yeah, it doesn't actually matter that, Kirby's one of the best head coaches in college football and they play an SEC schedule and, they've been a great team and have won that. Like, of course it matters, dude. Of course it matters.
I think it absolutely matters. I think that's why the human thing is so difficult. But then how pissed off were we all when we were using computers?
But ironically, the computers are damn near the same as this.
Yes.
That's the amazing part.
Yeah, I don't know. I love the passion of the argument, and I don't think anybody's right or anybody's wrong, or I think our opinions,
But that Oregon BYU game is a great example of a game where Dan Lanning's legacy at Oregon and his ability to say no to SEC jobs is on full display. You know, if you're going to continue to say no to, you know, Bama or LSU, you can't lose a game like BYU, let's say, or a game against a team that you should theoretically beat regardless of what the stat sheet says. You can't lose that game, dude. And if you do, now I got to start to ask questions. I mean, that's how it goes.
All right, let's get some of your comments in. I appreciate everybody commenting on the show. We don't apply it, fat man. Well, at least you're original. Nobody has ever called me fat before. So if we're talking about quality losses, can't discount Texas if they beat the Aggies. No.
But I just,
they're
out. They're 3-loss.
Awkward. That's going to be such a brawl. If they beat A&M, and you look at this thing right here, if Texas wins, what do you want to bet they're like 13th?
Yeah. Doorstep.
It's going to be Austin, Texas will burn.
And I would double down on that and say if Texas wins the A&M game and others who are right there, like Utah, BYU, Notre Dame, Bama, you know, if those teams lose, then Texas has a way, in my opinion. If you know, again, if Notre Dame becomes a 3-loss team, then we have a different conversation at play, right? That, you know, like that's
why I'm telling you, you jackwagons, you know, fat man's telling you guys,
right?
This right here, you want to talk about an important game? You want to talk about an elimination game? Yeah. That one and this one. BYU cannot lose this weekend. I just think it's incredible. Jake, we agree with your BYU and Oregon take 100%, but can't say Penn State was ranked 3rd when Oregon beat them, then say the AP doesn't matter.
That's not what I said, dude. That is not what I said.
That's not what you said, but that's what. Go ahead.
I did not say the AP top 25 doesn't matter. What I said was the preseason polls don't matter, right? When we get our first, hey, this is the AP top 25 after week 1, that matters. But the preseason ranking based on portaling and pre-portaling and your mom's portaling and your sister's portaling,
right?
That doesn't matter to me, dude. That does not matter, bro. So please, if you're going to try and hold me accountable the correct way.
Yeah, I think it's awfully difficult just looking at the way. I think the AP matters. I think the AP matters. I think because it's in the pipeline. Do TV ratings matter? Yeah, I don't necessarily know about that, Phil. I don't know about that. Florida was ranked as a very high, so it's good loss for Texas. Exactly my point, awkward guy. What did awkward guy say? Jake, you can't say AP rankings don't matter. Okay, so same thing. I think they matter. My opinion is they matter. But, you know, I could be wrong. Last year, BYU beat SMU head-to-head. Why did SMU get into the playoff? We had that exact same conversation. Odds that Jake quick changes the channel from CNN and Caitlin Collins to MSNBC and Rachel Maddow when the girlfriend walks in the room. Probably
not a Maddow fan.
Probably minus 600. Yeah, but your girlfriend's not a Caitlin Collins fan. You can just bank on that.
Got anything to say? Quite frankly, fuck you.
Goldfinger, Texas belongs nowhere near the playoff. I kind of agree with that. Joey Harper, ho. If BYU, Cincinnati, Houston, Arizona State, and Utah finish with 2 losses, who plays Texas Tech in the conference championship game? I think your mom. Could be wrong. There is a I want to make sure I get this right. Head-to-head results for 2-team ties. Let's see. No. Yeah, I have to. Hang on. God damn it. I don't want to speak out of turn. Let's see. I am pretty certain.
Iraq.
God damn it. You know, you pay all this money for.
I personally believe that pop-up ads are the worst thing known to man.
Texas Tech is pretty much going in, right?
Yes.
BYU just has to win out, and they're in. If BYU loses, Utah would have the better winning percentage based on conference opponents. The Utes would have to win both of their games. Why is the note thing on Mac password protected? I hate that so much. All right. BYU losing would pretty much give the tiebreaker to Utah, right? The problem is they need everybody. Houston needs everybody to lose.
Right.
They would have to win both their games, which is going to be tough. But they'd need, I think, Utah, Cincinnati, and Arizona State each to lose, and BYU would have to lose all their games. So that'd be tough. To make the conference championship, Cincinnati would need Arizona State, Houston, and Utah to lose. So that's just not going to happen. Arizona State needs Texas Tech to lose to West Virginia. And they need Utah and Cincinnati both to lose. And I just don't think that's going to happen. The most straightforward likely path is for BYU and Texas Tech to rematch because I think they're both going to win their games.
Yeah.
But if they lose, they'd be in that 2-team tiebreaker, and Utah would have the better winning percentage. So,
yeah.
You know, that very well, I think, could happen. But who am I? Aggie, pretty sure BYU has the tiebreaker, but if everybody's a 2-loss team, and again, this is I took this right from the Big 12. The Utes would have to win their final 2 games against K-State and Kansas. BYU would need to lose its final 2 games over Cincinnati and UCF. With Cincinnati losing to TCU, they'd hold the tiebreaker over Utah if both had 2 losses. Right. So the Utes already,
in other words, don't lose.
That's the problem. That's the problem. BYU losing its final 2 games against Cincinnati and UCF, and Cincinnati losing to TCU would give it to Utah. So there's absolutely a path. I'm telling you, the tiebreaker in the Big 12 is ludicrous. BYU and Arizona State would have to lose 1 game, and Utah would have to win out. It's ludicrous. The whole thing is crazy. Joseph, you can go online and read. It calculates the tiebreakers. Yeah, the Big 12 has a great tiebreaker on their website. So, yeah, I would encourage you guys to go read it. It is crazy. It is. I don't even know. This all needs to go away.
Win ball games.
In my opinion, I just think it is. It's crazy, and I think when you start looking at the tiebreaker stuff, this just comes down to BYU and Texas Tech winning out. If they both win out, there's nothing to talk about. There is nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
So, thanks, guys. You're welcome.
Guys.
Hey, guys. David Persons. Word at TCU is that Sonny might get 1 more year. Huge mistake. Huge mistake. Thank you.
What
David,
else is new, bro? What else is new?
Lane sees LSU as Sydney Sweeney and Blue Jeans.
Right.
I see everybody wants to discount LSU as a bad job. I agree. There's some quirks there. Obviously, the governor, all the ridiculousness that's going on in the state house and who's actually, dude, get it. I get it. I totally get it. But I don't think LSU's that bad of a job. What about Aranda at Baylor? No, he cannot. He cannot.
How
James,
does he
I need
stay
you
after
to-
what happened today, bro? Come on.
You cannot. Yeah, and if you miss that news, Mac Rhodes has resigned as the athletic director at Baylor. If I'm Baylor, I go way outside, and find somebody new. No, Mark Hales, nobody misses the mustache. Nobody. You know. Ed Orgeron back to LSU. Go Tigers. Go Tigers. When I worked at ESPN, did you guys know that they banned us from mimicking him saying that? Go Tigers. We were not allowed to I changed my A-word voice today, and sometimes she talks out of turn. But you guys need to do female voice too on your Alexas. Because it is.
Are you going to sample it now so people can hear it?
No, you guys should all go do it.
Okay.
I don't know. Let's see. Alexa, play feminine voice 2 for me.
I'm not sure what you'd like to play. Here are the top results. Peter Pan, Her, and Hubie Halloween.
Alexa, can you change your voice for me to feminine voice 2?
I'm already using the feminine 2 relaxed voice on this device. Would you like to try a different voice?
No. In feminine, in Alexa, will you say how beautiful I am?
You're beautiful to me. Take it from someone with no physical form.
Ask A-word if BYU will beat Oregon.
Hey, Alexa, should men wear puffy vests?
Puffer vests have reemerged as a popular fashion choice for women.
Bro, she said puffer.
They offer versatility for transitional weather, providing warmth without bulk.
Dude.
It can be styled in various ways depending on personal preference.
Oh, that's great.
Alexa, am I good looking?
You're beautiful to me. Beauty really does come from within.
I'm telling you, the A-word's feminine voice too is.
Does she have a Team USA South Carolina voice?
U.S. Americans.
Alexa, will you repeat the following phrase, please? U.S. Americans.
U.S. Americans. This makes me think of that Miss Team USA moment from way back when.
Alexa, play Miss Teen USA saying U.S. Americans.
I'm not sure what you'd like to play.
Oh, come on.
Thank you, Alexa.
You just made my day.
See?
Happy to help, Tim.
See? I'm telling you. Yes. Feminine voice 2 is not as good as try Pixar Mom voice 2, because Pixar Mom voice 2 is. You know.
Yeah, James, any thoughts, dude? By the way, I think James caught a stray up here about yes. Let's see, where is it?
I caught a stray. Somebody called me fat today.
Oh yeah, right here, Chris Faithful. I thought Mac Rhodes apologized. Thank you, Chris.
But they're saying he's not fired over the Frank Trigg thing or resigned over the or the Michael Trigg thing. They're saying it's something else, a completely separate issue.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Hey, Jake has to keep his cold heart warm. Yes, he does.
Yeah, we do what we got to do, you know.
My A-word is freaking out over here. I love it. Monty listens to the voice when he's glazing donuts.
Timothy.
My A word is responding every time you ask something. You know. Hey, no, because then mine will do it. Monty, please, yes. Try the James voice number 3. No. I don't. Where is James today?
Or Dana.
You know. Jake, are you gonna make an ass out of yourself saying that Jon Summerall is not a good head coaching candidate?
That's not who I said wasn't a good head coaching candidate.
I know, but are you going to say that today?
No.
Okay.
No.
Is Jon Summerall a good hire at Auburn?
Yeah, I think he would be.
You do think he would be? Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good fit for Auburn. Yeah.
I think Auburn has to hire Jon Summerall, and I think Auburn and UCLA have to be the next two to hire coaches, or they're going to get left on the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a hugely important weekend. You need, if you're UCLA and Auburn, you need to hire your coach before Thanksgiving, in my opinion. And the word is Florida canceled the Jon Summerall interview because they didn't want to send the message that they were out on Lane Kiffin, which they are because Lane's out on them.
Yeah, I think that message got sent, dude. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that I think that UCLA and Auburn need to get it together and get that done. But I have concerns, man. Penn State is not doing the job right now, bro. And I don't know, maybe Penn State fan wants to say that oh well, we've hired somebody, the public just doesn't know about it. He's hiding in the shadows, and we're gonna announce it after the CFP is over.
Nick Saban.
Yeah. Oh, Nick Saban is gonna be a Nittany Lion, Monty.
I love Penn State fan coming in here the other day saying, "Oh, we can get the best coaches in college football. Line them up."
Sure, dude.
No, you can't.
Sure.
Nick Saban is a better man than you are.
I think this would be a disaster. Why is Pat Fitzgerald getting a free pass on what happened under his watch at Northwestern?
Because on paper, he was, whatever you want to say. Huh?
I think Pat Fitzgerald is as responsible as anybody who did anything at Penn State. Am I just being a red ass about that? Is that?
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. See, again, this is what happened in the court of law versus what we actually think he knew. You know, that's that difference. So, I don't disagree. I think he knew everything that was going on, and he denied it up and down, and did what he had to do, and and on paper it says he didn't know anything. Okay,
I don't even care. Jake. I don't even care if he knew. This is again where we get into me being asshole old man. I don't care if he knew. I don't care if Jim Harbaugh was buying cheeseburgers for hungry kids. It's not up to you to know or not know. It's your responsibility. It is your duty to know.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And you can say you didn't know that there was alleged sexual abuse going on in your locker room and hazing in your locker room. It doesn't matter.
Then why would we hire you, bro?
Because your team was out of control.
Oh, I know why they'd hire him, Monty. Because that's Petter ass you. They're comfortable with that. This would not be their first hire like this.
Yeah, it's rough, dude. It is.
That's why.
It's rough when you start getting into when you start getting into what happened at Northwestern, and then you go put that guy at Penn State. I think you're asking for blowback. I don't know how it ends.
How would it be anything else, dude? How would it be anything else than criticism? And again, I just keep asking, what all did he do at his last post that makes him worthy of the Penn State job? Just from a football perspective. That's what I don't get.
Yeah, I think it's really tough for me. And this is again where we're gonna disagree. It's really hard to hire, in my opinion, Pat Fitzgerald when you can hire Bob Chesney.
Right.
And this is what I say about Florida. Why are you interviewing Jon Summerall? And let's pretend Lane Kiffin's out. He's taking the LSU job or he's staying at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Why would you not call Lane Kiffin, or why would you not call Lincoln Riley?
If you're Penn State.
No, if you're Florida.
Oh, okay.
If you're Florida with all due respect to Jon Summer, I want Lincoln Riley to be my head coach. Look what he's done at USC now.
All due respect.
I want Lincoln Riley. I think Jon Summerall is going to be a great coach at Auburn. I think John Gruden's going to be a great coach at Arkansas. And I think Lincoln Riley is going to be a great coach at Florida.
You really think John will do a good job at Arkansas? You think that'll be...
I think John will have to hire a staff because I personally would not hire him to be a head coach in college football. He's never done it.
Right.
And frankly, he's been out of the coaching game a long time.
Yeah.
What do you mean there's jets of... So I was told today that John Gruden in Florida or John Gruden in Arkansas had a video call. And Marcus is telling me there's people tweeting about Arkansas sending private jets to Florida.
No, I hadn't seen that.
I hadn't seen that either. But, you know, I think it's one of those things where Lincoln Riley has made it pretty clear he wants to be in the SEC. And I think that one of his big regrets is he's probably second-guessing himself once or 7 times for leaving Oklahoma because USC has not been a pleasure cruise. But then the domino falls because I don't know if USC can do better than Lincoln Riley. How do you do better than Lincoln Riley has done at USC? And who would that be? It'd be Will Stein. That'd be my first and only call if I am USC. You know, like that is, I think Florida is not a better, well, it's close. It's close.
There's so many key differences between them that I think that it's hard to compare them. I think, you know, Southern California is a very different place than Tallahassee. And I think that, or I'm sorry, Gainesville. And I think that, you know, Florida's a different place than California. I think the culture's different. The environment's different. The SEC is different than the Big Ten. I mean, they couldn't be more different in terms of job. I am a big proponent of Florida being a brand that is waiting for, waiting for that guy to resurrect them. You know, they're trying to find a candidate to come in there and really grab that thing by the horns and take them places. That's what they need. And I think that that's why I was saying before before Lane got kind of crossed off the list with Florida.
Crossed off the list.
You know, I think that if I was Florida, I would have been way ahead of LSU on, approaching him. I would have gone after him hard if you wanted him because you knew what you had. You can't tell me officials at Florida didn't have some intel on what LSU was cooking up with that offer. You can't tell me they had no idea. So to me, it's like, all right, well, that signals to me, if just speculating, that would signal to me, hey, maybe we're not trying to pay 125 million. Maybe that's not quite what we want to spend. Maybe we'd more like to be 100 million or 90 million, for our next hire. And this is who we want to go and get. And hey, if you want to go, if you want to make Lincoln an offer, make the guy an offer. Right. But I think it's asking a lot to just expect him to be like, oh yeah, I'm jumping all over it when he's already got it going at SC.
And I think the hardest part is I think Lincoln knows how good the job at USC is, but there's been so much consternation. And I think Lincoln will never tell you whether he regrets leaving Oklahoma. There has to be part of him. He has taken so many shots at USC. And I don't even think justifiably. I think his recruiting's been incredible. I think, obviously, the defensive thing, not winning enough games. I think the travel thing is a huge problem for anybody who takes the USC job. And I have heard that from so many people who just say it's the biggest barrier between winning and losing is the arduous travel schedule.
And there is, sorry, not to cut you off. I was following Marcus's thing about people tweeting about everything. And I just saw Matt Zenitz of CBS Sports just tweeted a half hour ago that LSU would be open to Ed Ogeron returning as part of Kiffin's staff. So they are not open to him being a head coach, obviously.
Correct.
But they are open to him being on the staff. So, I mean, see, that kind of tells you, like, I just, to me, you wouldn't be leaking that to the media if Lane wasn't taking that job, which inherently then means if you're Florida, you know, I don't know. We have to see what Florida's made of. See, again, this takes me back to, like, there's a reason you're in this position. You thought it was a good idea to keep Billy Napier. I can only lead the horse to water, dude. The guy's not a winner, and you thought he was. You thought the class was good enough to overcome his deficiencies as a head coach, which makes me believe, okay, well, if that's what you think, then are you even considering Lincoln Riley? Like,
I think that all the smoke around Lincoln Riley, there's too much smoke for there not to be some there. And I know too many USC boosters who would pay him to leave, which is ridiculous in my opinion. And I know we have a lot of USC listeners on this show, and I hear you guys that you feel like Kenny Dillingham would be the guy that would take that job. Kenny Dillingham would be a home run hire. I think that would be incredible. Is Kenny Dillingham going to leave Arizona State to go to USC? I don't know. I think he would. I think this Sam Leavitt thing at Arizona State's very interesting because there are so many rumors swirling around there about why Sam Leavitt would leave. Because him and Sam Leavitt, did you guys hear Kenny Dillingham just raving about Sam Leavitt yesterday? Talking about how he's a tough dude and he's healing and we're so proud of him and we just feel awful for him. And that's not accidental. And I think if Kenny Dillingham were available and Lincoln Riley wanted the Florida job, I've been told by 100 different people that would be a mutual parting of the ways and a buyout would not stand between Lincoln Riley and USC parting ways. Now we'll see, because I think Lincoln Riley's not having a good season. Lincoln Riley's having a phenomenal season.
Agreed.
And I continue to tell you that Lincoln Riley's got the best offense in the Big Ten, and his defense doesn't suck. Is it the best defense in the Big Ten? Fuck no. It's not. But it's fucking Lincoln Riley. Is he ever going to have the best defense in the Big Ten? No. But now, what has he done? Do you guys understand? And I'm going to continue to evangelize the name King Miller. Do you know how good that guy is? Do you have any idea how good King Miller is? I don't think you do. Because I think King Miller makes it all possible. Because if they don't run the ball the way that they run the ball, and if King Miller is not the bad mofo that he is, Jaden Mayava's job is much more difficult. And I think Makai Lemon, I think Jacoby Lane probably had his best game as a Trojan. I think Lincoln Riley's doing a great job. He's got the #1 recruiting class for the next 2 years. Don't let Lincoln Riley leave USC. I am begging you to keep Lincoln Riley in Los Angeles. But if he goes, you had better. I think Will Stein's the perfect guy.
Agreed.
Because I don't think you're getting. And a good buddy of mine who's an SC fan was texting me with me the other day about Kenny Dillingham. Could we get him? Could we get him? Could we get him?
Well, I don't think it's a question of could you get him.
Oh, I think it is. I think, do you guys, and I think if you're an SC fan, you know how hotly contested California, Nevada, Arizona. Do you know how much football talent comes out of Arizona?
A lot.
Do you know how much football talent comes out of Colorado, Utah, New Mexico? Like, though Arizona State and SC run into each other constantly. I I think it's going to be really interesting to see how all this plays out. But man, if I am an SC fan, I am really hoping that he doesn't leave. What do you mean LMAO fight?
2 comments up.
Fight on Natties. What's up, dude? Monty, I guess I'm just wasting my time attending booster meetings. I should just call you for the information. I'm not saying that. I listen. SC fans, you're on one side of the line or the other. There is no middle ground on. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Lincoln Riley, Fidon? You're on this show regularly.
You attend booster meetings.
What are your thoughts on Lincoln Riley? I think you are. There's no middle ground on Lincoln Riley at SC. You either love that guy or you hate that guy. You either want that guy or you want that guy gone. And I've got friends on both sides of it. That fucking guy, though, has built a program that's winning games, and he's winning tough games, and they're not making the mistakes. And it's because he's got 3 legitimate wide receivers. He's got the best quarterback in the Big Ten, arguably. And I understand. Oh, Dante Moore. Go watch Jade Mayava throw the football in that.
Oh, Mayava's a better thrower than Dante Moore. There's no question.
If you put Dante Moore in that offense, national championship. I am not even kidding. Look at the numbers on SC's offense. And nobody does. Nobody thinks, hey, best offense in the Big Ten. Bryce Underwood. I mean, that's the kind of
Ohio State.
That goes on regular. Well, it's not even Ohio State. It is the write-off from longtime Big Ten fans of USC's offense is incredible. But I'm telling you, and I love Julian Sayin. And I think you put Julian Sayin in that offense, national championship. You put Jaden Mayava at Ohio State, national championship.
Right.
I just think if you're USC, you better find a way to keep Lincoln Riley because it's a mistake to let him go.
Yeah, and I think if you just summarily let him go, if you're not aggressive in trying to retain him, then you haven't learned the lesson of Penn State. You haven't learned the lesson of others who have gone through this, you know?
And I think, whoa. That's a great point. That's not a good point. Do you understand that James Franklin had to scale Penn State?
Mm-hmm.
James Franklin scaled it and then stopped. And not only that, he scaled it because I think last year they were here and then they went down this year. And average ass Aller was their ceiling. You want to know why Lincoln Riley's so good? Because what people don't want to talk about is that it isn't that Lincoln Riley had to scale USC. He didn't have anything when he got to USC. They were, and it's hard to fathom this if you understand the pipeline to USC. They had a wholesale lack of talent. And you begin to understand he immediately prioritized offense. Caleb. Heisman Trophy, right? And it worked. Only problem is Caleb Williams not a linebacker. And so now he's built, and look what's happening. He's built the talent back. They're winning games, and they're continuing up. James Franklin was his own worst problem. Lincoln Riley is his best problem because he's a recruiter. He's got a staff that's a recruiter. He went to Westwood and got a great defensive coordinator who's a recruiter. His linebacker coach is a fucking phenomenal recruiter, excuse my French. The job that Lincoln Riley's had to do at USC, just putting a foundation in place to build the house. And he didn't even have the roof on the house yet. He just got the 4 walls. He didn't even have the roof on the house yet.
Mm-hmm.
He's not done by if he gets away to Florida, you will regret that. You will regret that because you'll go get Will Stein and be my guess. If you said, hey, Lincoln Riley left, who do you think they'll hire? I think they'll try to get Kenny Dillingham. I think I would have to think right now today, I would have to think The normal names. I'd have to think Kenny Dillingham.
I would interview Kenny. I'd interview Bob. I'd interview Will.
Bob.
Chesney. And I would try to interview Garrett Riley.
See, the problem is I don't think Bob Chesney's he's not the guy. But he's the guy at Penn State. He's from there. Perfect fit. The problem in Los Angeles is you got to be like I would call Cliff Kingsbury. You got to have, bro, give me length and girth. You got to have, because you also have to have arm candy for your wife.
Length and girth.
You have to have the motif. You have to have the charisma, because Lincoln Riley, the other thing that people don't understand is, do you guys know how difficult it is to placate boosters, supporters, sponsors at USC? Why was Pete Carroll such a dog at USC? Because he just popped a bunch of gum in his mouth, chewed it, shook hands, looked good, beautiful looking guy, really charismatic. And he had Brian Cushing, and he had Matthews, and he had this, and he had Reggie, and he had this, and because he was really charismatic. One of the knocks on Lincoln Riley is he doesn't love everybody. He doesn't love all the boosters. So when you hire somebody, why is Kenny Dillingham so transcendent at ASU? Because everybody loves him. That's why he's the great hire. You can't replace Lincoln with Garrett. I think Will Stein's the guy. I think that's
him or Kenny. Yeah.
All right, let me see. Is Fidon Natty back in? Here he is. Lincoln, he's doing a good job because people don't understand he had to rebuild. And I mean rebuild, right? Most people don't realize that our program was in shambles because of the sanctions and the scholarship reductions, but we can't use that as an excuse. We just fight on. And Clay Helton was a detriment. Jay, I think Riley was actually better at Oklahoma. No one was touching him, so he might be there again. I think Venables saved himself here. I mean, I think Oklahoma's getting in the college football playoff. I do. And can you imagine if John Mattayer had stayed healthy and won the Heisman Trophy? Now, I think Fernando probably with that throw against Pedo State probably won the Heisman Trophy, but you know. Yeah. The way Riley got the USC job, it was the Mayflower truck leaving Baltimore headed to Indianapolis. Nobody was even speculating. But USC's really USC.
That's
how did USC
style.
get into the Big Ten?
Yeah, that's their style.
And nobody knew. Right? Like it's how USC operates. Oklahoma loses Saturday. Why would you say that out loud? After that win, you're going to roll out with Oklahoma is losing Saturday.
You're gonna roll out with Oklahoma's losing Saturday with that offensive line that you have, and that wide receiver room you don't have,
and it's at Memorial.
Come on, bro.
I think Oklahoma's real. That defense is savage, dude. Yeah. That defense is savage, and I think the hard part is they're gonna rue that loss to Ole Miss. And what is so fascinating to me is I think that was probably Chambliss's incredible moment. But Kawan Lacey they held him down. I think he averaged 3 yards a carry in that game or something, because Venables a dog, dude. That guy knows how to coordinate a defense. And Prbula's not going to play, and I think it's going to be really tough. Isn't that an 11 a.m. kick? I think that's an early kick in Norman. I think that's asking a lot. And it'll be fun to see, man. You know, I think Ahmad Hardy is a really good running back. I mean, you don't run for 1,350 yards in the SEC and not be good. We're gonna watch Oklahoma State put on a tackling drill.
Mm-hmm.
And We'll see. Big Daddy Magic. It's Thursday night. It's football night. Yeah, I should probably play the Big Daddy Magic video. Did you watch that video, dude?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, wait. Mac Rhodes wrote a letter.
Well, ChatGPT did. You know.
Mac Rhodes, you guys know, resigned today. The past 9 years serving as the vice president for intercollegiate athletics at Baylor have been among the greatest joys of my professional life. However, I find myself in a season of life where I need to pursue my faith and my family with an intentional focus that requires me to move on from my role as caretaker of this great athletic program. Did he have an affair? Oh, no. Oh, no. I know that whatever the future holds, God has a great plan for Baylor in it. May he continue to bless the university and each individual associated with it. Thank you, and sick 'em Bears.
Family.
Boy, it sounds like he had a... I hope that's not what happened. That would be an incredible betrayal. If that's what, but boy, reading this, I mean, the rest of the statement's just like, all the players were great. Your mom's awesome. She's hot. Let's do it. Wow. That's really tough, man. Like you need to, are we all in alignment that you need to fire Dave Aranda?
Yes. There needs to be a cleansing.
Has to be. Yeah, I think so, Chris. It feels like it. I hope that's not what happened. Mac Rhodes had Dana in the trunk. Jesus. I heard Riley is going to Waco. He's not going to Waco. BDM, 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 BDM. Big Daddy Magic. Okay, I swear. I go to play this video and my phone is installing a software update. What, it doesn't ask anymore?
Okay, here, let me here, I'll come in clutch here for you.
No,
okay?
I got it. Okay, wait, let's.
Today's your lucky day,
Hold
November
on.
20th, 2025. Hey, player! Today's your lucky day, November 20th, 2025, of our Lord and Savior Jesus. If Josh Allen completes a pass in this game on Thursday night,
One single pass.
you have to buy me a red 3X Buffalo Bills hoodie.
Of course.
If he doesn't complete a pass,
Not a single
Jake
one.
has to buy you a Larry Vuitton carry-on bag.
A Larry?
Who the hell is Larry?
Somebody's gonna have a winning day today. The things I do for you, and you're welcome. Bye-bye.
It's you're what makes you think you can dictate to me, boy? I love that you're always like, you're gonna buy this for me.
Hey, player! Holy shit! There's a comet named 3-Eye Atlas coming towards the Earth.
It's an
They
asteroid.
think it might be alien.
I thought Victor was here already.
And they're going to see all my posts about Victor Wembanyama, so I'll probably be
Raptured?
the world leader.
You'll be raptured by the
Put
aliens?
in a good word for you,
Oh, thanks.
so you don't have to work in the alien slave camps.
Oh, wow, thank you.
And hopefully you don't get probed. But hey, player,
Look, James.
man, this is weird, man.
What, you talking about probing people? Yeah.
It's a comment.
It's an asteroid. Same thing.
All right, player, bye.
That's it? Oh, you guys, there's a volume more.
Hey, player, it's Thursday night in the greatest country on God's green earth, America. The Buffalo Bills, led by Superman himself, the beloved MVP. You might not like it, but learn to love it because it's not going to change. Josh Allen leads the Buffalo Bills into the great state of Texas to play the Texas Texans, not the whole state of Texas, not the Texas Rangers. God bless them for keeping Texas safe. And I'm not talking the Texas Rangers, the baseball team, because only little guys with little love muscles that can't satisfy a woman only watch baseball. I'm talking the Texas of the National Football League, the NFL. And George Bush, the son, owns the Texas Rangers.
No, he doesn't.
And his dad was the president in between them. And Bill Clinton, you know that guy, Epstein's a hero.
Yeah, that
guy.
Idol. The guy that should be shooting everything. But let me tell you something. The Big Daddy had to go before a jury. They say I was a hung jury. And they make Big Daddy Magic National hung like a horse day. And women would be satisfied for the rest of their lives. Simply ravishing, total package, Big Daddy out.
Dude, you gotta, I mean.
I don't even know. Like,
where do you come up with this? More to the point, what's in the weeds you're smoking, bruh? Because, like, where do you even, like, did you give Mac Rhodes a hit? Is that what happened here? You know. Yeah. No, Marcus, you think we don't know that the dude is cooked? Thank you. That's exactly right. That dude is cooked. I think so. Probing sponsored by TCU James Butt Buzzer, MK2. Larry Baton Rouge Landry, a.k.a. the governor, right? We have a mental health crisis and meth crisis. Yeah, we do. And Big Daddy, you know what? Yeah, Big Daddy Magic, do you guys know he's a real paparazzi? He, like, gets autographs and pictures with people, and this dude is as high as 3i Atlas. Okay, do you guys believe that 3i Atlas is coming for that ass? Do you think that's happening?
I go back and forth. I vacillate. You know, part of me feels like it's just a rock. And then sometimes I'm like, well, actually, some of these photos that are coming out, it's cause for concern. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Well, because some people like, oh, well, this is like an alien ship disguised as a rock. And I have trouble with that, Like, I don't know. Is it or not? Like, it's.
Are you worried about it?
No, it's not something that's on my mind all the time. No, I haven't thought about it since we talked about it the last time on the show.
It moves through space at 190 million miles from Earth. They took a picture of it from Milan, Italy. And I'll upload the picture. I have no idea what it is. I don't know, because I'm not like astronomer, bruh. But this is what it looks like. And I'm assuming that's not Mac Rhodes, by the way. I'm assuming.
No, that's his legacy floating out into the ethos.
Okay. I mean, you see the trail and everything. Is this something we should be worried? No. First discovered in July and has been photographed several times. In early August, images released showed the comet from 277 million miles away.
Can you measure it?
It appears as a fuzzy white dot. I'm not worried. Dude, if aliens come, we're all dead anyways. Right?
Yeah, if that's how it's gonna be, that's how it's gonna be. If that's how I go, that's how I go, bro. Like if aliens are gonna come down with their laser guns and beam me up and torture me, I guess that's how it's gonna happen, dude.
They confirmed today that it is in fact a comet, which is cool. Contrary to speculation that it was alien technology or a massive asteroid, it's a comet. So I don't know. I wish that I wish I wanted to get it. I think it's cool. But is this something like, are you guys actually worried about this comet? Like, is this something that you're like,
Listen, if a comet's going to hit the earth and melt our faces off, all right, cool, bro.
Please.
Yeah, if a comet or a space rock or an asteroid or, whatever the hell this thing is called, if that's going to happen, it's going to happen, and we're going to have about, I'm guessing a week worth of terror in our lives before that thing hits Earth, and then we're all going to die. So it is what it is.
Are you like, what will you, if 3i Atlas is going to hit Earth, are you just going to go find a bunch of chicks and go to town and then it's over?
Yeah, I'll probably eat my last meal. Are you going to try
and sync that up with the comet hitting the Earth?
Yeah, I mean, just be full dumpage mode before I get melted. Is that what we're talking about? Since we're making sex jokes or what?
He's got no class.
Yeah.
Shame.
I don't know. I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh God, Monty, the world's ending, Monty. I'm not going to be worried about 3i Atlas. If that shit's coming and the world ends, okay. Kiss my ass goodbye, and I'm dying with a Rolex on my wrist. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
And
your Louis bag and your Louis wallet and your J's.
I got you a Louis bag. Are you even excited about that?
I am very excited about it. Sunday.
No, you don't get it until Christmas.
Okay. All right,
it's
fine.
A Christmas gift.
Fine.
Santa's got to bring it to you.
Okay. Bring his ass down from the North Pole, bro.
I'm ready. I'm not worried if it's aliens. I'm smoking weed if it's a comment. I'm smoking weed. If it's a star, I'm smoking weed. Nothing's going to stop me from living the American dream. Okay. SNL favorite skit, alien abduction series. Yeah. Right? My cooch. Amazing. I had some fuzzy white dots 1 week of penicillin routine. Took care of that. Chad, I'm happy for you, bruh. Saw it, dude. I'm not worried about it. I'm not. Fight on natties. Monty, whoever's tried to lure Lincoln away would have to pay his buyout, which is in the neighborhood of 90. But there is a belief that it would be a mutual parting because there's not, allegedly, some such as in the Iraq believe that Lincoln and USC would not be opposed to Lincoln taking another job. But who knows? We don't know what the truth is. You don't know, right? It's night of the comets. It could be.
The night of the comets.
Chewy says 3i Atlas is actually TCU James shitbox Honda.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, so let's see.
James when he's not on the show.
Okay, so let's see. So here's 3AI Atlas or whatever, right?
Here's the deal.
Here's one of the aliens from the ship, and then here's the other comrade that's on the ship. And then here's James's shitbox.
Can you imagine if 3i Atlas lands on Earth? And these two
guys, here I am.
These two monkeys get off and they're just like peeing on the ground. And this guy's like, oh, look, it's our leader, James. If that monkey's the ultimate leader of 3i Atlas and they're reporting to Oak State James, am I good or am I dead? I'm probably dead. I would guess. But how does James always catch strays on this show? Always catching strays. Oh, hey, Calford gifts 20 Monty Show membership. Damn good to see you, Calford. Does it hurt that Fernando Mendoza is this good for Indiana? Bo Perbula is expected to be upgraded to questionable. He is medically cleared to play Saturday, and it'll come down to a coach's decision on if he is able to play against Oklahoma. Oh, hot damn. Jake's least favorite coach, Eli Drinkwitch.
Mm-hmm.
If Calford gives channel memberships, BDM smoking weed. Exactly right.
Right.
What do y'all think is going to happen at meetings between Keith Carter and Lane Train tomorrow at Ole Miss? I don't know.
Lane Train will inform him he's taking the LSU job. That's my opinion. And they will figure out the best way to transition it.
Yeah. Would have been cooler if you got Jake a Scotty Cameron oil can putter. God
yeah,
damn.
the problem is we don't golf anymore, and I've already got a Scotty that was gifted to me by such as in like
rent some clubs and go play golf Friday.
Dude, it's so frustrating, man.
I miss it so much, you guys.
And the answer is no, because you don't like to play shitty golf, and even if you went out and played, you're not the type of guy who has fun.
Let's just. I think I could absolutely have fun. Let's just go find a banger, absolute shitbox course and play 9 holes. Me and you. No hose, no monkeys, no macaques.
No macaques, no 3AI atlases.
You won't do it. Jake won't do it because he knows.
Listen, I'll do it, but I know that you're not going to have fun with it, dude. You're not the guy that goes out. See, if you weren't you and you were just some guy who went out to have fun with it, I would say, yeah, let's bring a sixer.
What if we go down to the ranch? You remember the ranch we played last year?
Yes.
Bang around Niner. Let's go down to the ranch, rent some clubs, and you and I will play 9 holes in Laguna Beach.
I mean, I'm down. You have to promise not to get all pissed off when you're not playing well, because I'm not going to play well either. And, like.
Me? What? How about this? What if I bring my clubs and will your clubs fit in your car?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Because I have to check a bag. My wife, because this trip is turning into a shit show. I'm not even going to lie.
Why?
Because we have to,
What? You have to what?
I'm flustered even talking about it.
Okay.
I wanted to board the dog.
But she wanted to take the dog to the dog beach.
My wife wants to bring the dog on this trip. We're flying. So all weekend long, or really all this week, last week we ordered a bag. For my dog. It's a backpack for the dog.
Yeah, I got it through the Louis plug. It's amazing.
No, it's not. It's a fucking prison cell. It's a duffel bag for a dog. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
So all week, my wife has been training the dog with treats.
Okay. And how is he doing with that? Has he liked it or not?
Not well. Homie, don't play that. So we're going to have to go Big Daddy Magic and drug the fuck out of our dog. Excuse my French. I've cursed a lot today.
Yeah.
We're going to have to dope the dog up. Stick him in this bag and get on an airplane.
In the big.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
So I have to check a bag. So I could bring in the clubs and then every night until next Friday, go into the driving range. But it's a whole thing. We don't need to do it.
No, we don't. Well, here's the other thing, too. I'm not confident the weather's going to be good. It's supposed to be. There's going to be. Let me check again. I was looking at this earlier. Let me check again.
No.
Let me check again.
I never get to go to LA. Are you telling me our weather's going to be bad in LA?
Well, now it says it's going to be fine. So I don't know. Maybe that was just right now it's absolutely dumping in LA. Like right now it's just dumping rain.
Wow, it is 58 and flood warning. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, dude. You look at the radar, it's gnarly, bro.
Oh my God.
You know what I could do? You know what I could do, Maury? I could bring the old Xbox and we could rerun some Battlefield. What do you think? Dude, it'd be like the old days. What? That's not good enough anymore? I mean, I can get Call of Duty if that would make you feel better. You're more of a Call of Duty guy these days.
I'm down. But see, the difference is you're going to be a bachelor. Your girlfriend's going back to Crap Town. And
Crap Town, right?
But my wife, it's largely a work. This trip is turning into a nightmare. It's a work trip.
Well, we're all working. Yeah.
So it's a work trip,
but only for 3 days.
Right. And I could work 2 days, but it's probably going to be 3.
Yeah.
It's a work trip. And we're staying in an Airbnb. And now I got to bring the dog. Like.
Well, what's wrong with bringing the dog?
I don't want to put him on the airplane.
Why?
I hate doping him up. I hate giving him the little pill that makes him relaxed and sleep, and I don't love it. I don't love it. That's the biggest issue.
You'll love it when your dog and my dog are running around on the dog beach. Trust me.
Your dog shits everywhere.
It's not true, dude.
Yeah. Was that the case at my place?
Yeah, that's because I fed her food because I didn't have food for her. I was unprepared. That's not her fault. That's my fault.
Oh, she'll be. And I said to Jake before he did the whole feed her human food, hey,
I didn't think it'd be a big deal to do some turkey and rice, dude. Didn't think it'd be a big deal.
Yeah, right until she did a big deal on the brand new 2-day-old bathroom mat from IKEA, which is the greatest bathroom mat ever.
Well, you're an IKEA guy now.
No, I hate IKEA. But the bathroom mats from IKEA are the shower mat from IKEA, dude, it's the greatest shower mat ever.
Mm-hmm.
I kid you not. I kid you not.
Anyway.
Yeah, this trip is just going to stress me out.
Why? You don't, it's fine. It's not a big deal.
No, it's not. Mapes, who's been a member for 27 months. There you go. 27 months. Didn't Rhodes have a Retzloff video game party, dude? I really hope it wasn't an infidelity thing.
Sure sounds like it. I agree. Clubhouse leader.
Saw it. So Jack's dog was dropping growlers, bro. No, you know what? Jack's dog
growlers.
Jack's dog was spilling chocolate milkshakes on my bathroom mat.
Dude, growlers.
I wish it was loggage. It was not loggage.
Growlers, bro.
It was not loggage. In fact, it was.
Yeah.
You know, it was not in stuff, and like. It was not good.
Now this is yeah. I think I am going to bring the Xbox. I think we could have some good times together. I think I am going to bring it. What do you think?
I should probably bring mine because I never mine. I don't even. You want to know how much I don't use my Xbox? I have no idea where the plug is.
It's not even plugged in?
Since I moved, I can't find the plug to my Xbox. You know, super rocket ship plug. I can't find the plug.
Yeah, well, here, let me break some news to you. Your Xbox is old enough now that it can't play Battlefield. Did I tell you that story? Yeah. I had to get a new Xbox at one point just to be able to play Battlefield.
A new Xbox? You had a brand new one.
No. I told you about this. I had the same one you had, but I had to upgrade mine. And I got a refurbished one at a discounted price. That's been amazing, by the way, to play Battlefield because apparently it needs a better graphics card or whatever it needed. So there you go.
Monty, take the dog, and instead of giving the dog the pill, you take it and you'll relax.
There you go.
I'm not a high stress traveler at all. I just hate my dog has never been on an airplane, and they raised the price by 50%. Did they?
Of what?
I don't know. Split screen OG Halo. Dude, Halo was there was only one version of Halo I liked. I don't even remember which one it was. Xbox One is old generation. People still play Xbox, apparently. I have my Switch. I'm all, dude. Galaga on Nintendo Switch is impossible. It's so difficult.
That was your game, dude.
But I love Galaga. Galaga and Mario Kart. Just rager all night long.
Yeah.
I love Mario Kart. Yeah, Xbox One is old generation. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Monty, take the dog. Leave the Huey Winston bag. There you go. Did you guys hear that Halo is now going to PlayStation? Is it really? That used to be a huge battle. You guys remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Gaming PC for the dub. Never had a gaming PC.
Yeah.
Never had a gaming PC. PS5 is eons ahead of the Relic Xbox, any model or series. I do love PS5. I've always been more of a PlayStation guy than but that's just me. Galaga's amazing. Dude, I love Galaga. Teaching the wife to play Galaga. Somebody, what do you mean? What do you mean, Marcus? Tell the guy in the peanut gallery that you talk about your wife probably too much on the show. Who said I don't talk about my wife?
Yeah, what are we talking about here?
I don't know. Marcus said, tell the guy in the peanut gallery who said that you don't talk about your wife, that you talk about your wife all the time. Like you guys, my wife's amazing. We went to a restaurant opening last night. And it was awesome. We went to Carmine's on 5th, the brand new restaurant here in Salt Lake. And it was spectacular. The food was awesome. I had rigatoni bolognese. The burrata. Oh my God, you guys. The burrata was. They give you burrata with this roasted olive oil concoction. And the burrata itself it wasn't the best part of the meal, but it was probably the best part of the meal. It was so good. They give you like burrata with some prosciutto and this amazing bread that just, you put the burrata on the bread and it melts. Oh my God. Oh my God. It was incredible. And then my wife had eggplant parm. I had the rigatoni bolognese, and it was the bolognese. Oh my God. And I kept the extra burrata and put it in the rigatoni. Dude, it's so good. Only ate half of the rigatoni because I didn't want to overeat. It was incredible. What are you looking at, Jake?
Bro, the Chiefs special teams coordinator, Dave Taub,
yeah,
was asked about Donald Trump saying that he didn't like the new kickoff rule.
Oh no.
Dave said, quote, he doesn't even know what he's looking at. He has no idea what's going on. Take that for what it's worth, and I hope he hears it. Ooh. Rough, bro. That's rough, dude.
Did we
Ooh. I'm gonna guess that Donald Trump is not gonna be at Gayha Field anytime soon, bro. Just an observation.
Why? Yeah. Why? No.
Yeah. Okay.
Why?
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's not good. That's not good, dude. That's not good. Let's see. PS5 is awesome. It is. Anyway, so my wife and I went to Carmine's on 5th, and it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you guys, that Cullinan, if you're just tuning in, I talked about it earlier. I saw the nicest car I've ever seen in my life. Rolls-Royce Cullinan, black badge, Emerald Edition. And apparently it belongs to a Seattle Seahawk player. And it is the coup. I don't even know. Is there a...
There, of course.
Of course, there's pictures online. It is the nicest car I have ever seen. I don't even know. It's a $710,000 car. And it is just so incredibly over the top. And it is... Where is Harvey Dent? Is this it right here? Yes, this is it right here. And it is, boys, this is, where is it? Show it to me. Do it. Let's see. I can't find a clean picture of it. Here it is right here. This thing right here. Stop it, Jake. Dude. I'm going to punch you in the dick. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I'm looking for a picture of this Cullinan so it does it justice.
Yeah.
Because this car is something to behold. Come on, you can do it. This one right here.
Yeah, I mean, that's just fire, dude.
$710,000.
I love it so much.
And it is in person. You know how when you see a strikingly good-looking woman, you're just like, God damn. That's what we walked out. So this restaurant's been open 3 hours when we got there. And on the wall outside the restaurant, it says Carmine's. And there's a dot on the eye, and it's all backlit. Some asshole ripped the dot off the wall. Like they were open 4 hours and somebody destroyed their sign. Other than that, you walk out and you see this dude sitting here. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And I've seen an F80 Ferrari, like I think before that car last night, I think what is the most expensive car I've ever seen? Oh, the LaFerrari we saw. Remember that at Cars and Coffee in Scottsdale?
Yeah, that or the SVJ.
No, an SVJ is not. I don't think you think. I think
I think the SVJ is anywhere between. I think it's like 5 to 7.
No. The SF90 is $2 million. The LaFerrari is $6.2 million. I'd have to look it up. How much is an SVJ? I think the LaFerrari is the most valuable car we've ever.
It's not the LaFerrari, but it's in that group somewhere.
SVJ MSRP. No, you're right. 700 minimum 515,000 and 710,000 on the high end MSRPs. Okay. So it's not the most expensive car I've seen, but it was nice. That
sure looks like it though.
I'd rather have an Aston Martin DBX. That's my joint. DBX is nice. Aston Martin's not bad. Yeah, 710's pocket change. It's crazy and I think I talked about this on the show yesterday. I had no idea the car town. And let's not get crazy. I drive an X4M competition that's $80,000, $90,000. And people literally stop me and ask me about my car, and it's wild when you have to have a security guard standing by your Cullinan. That's how nice that car is. Like, I think it was, where did I see that 90, that SF90? Wasn't that like Dana Point last year when we were in LA?
I think, yeah.
It's the nicest car. I thought that was the nicest car I'd ever seen. But Jake and I used to be heavy into the car scene in Scottsdale. So we would see exotics. We would see we saw multiple LaFerraris, F12 TDF, a Novatec TDF. Like,
the car scene in Phoenix makes any other market seem small. Like, it's wild.
Yes. Someone has a McLaren in my town. Oil money, dude. McLarens are nice. McLarens are nice. I think right now, the status symbol is probably the GT3 RS right now. That seems to be the car that the new GT3 RS is. That thing's unbelievable. And somebody in my building has one. And I mean, I think they only start at like 300, but you start getting into the different GT3 RS builds and you get into crazy money. You get in.
I think it just really depends like what you're looking for in the car. I mean, I do like some Ferrari, but I would say Ferrari for me, just preference wise, is probably like if you're doing Ferrari, Lambo, Porsche, is probably the lowest of the three. I'm much more of a Porsche Lambo guy.
I think you're a Lambo guy. I'm a Porsche guy.
Yeah.
I'm a BMW guy now. I mean, there is no doubt. But you look at the 911 GT3 RS or the 992 GT3 RS, like you start getting into the, bro, they're $300,000-$400,000 on the floor, and then you build them and they're $500,000. That's where I'm like, for $500,000, what could I get? Like
anything you want.
Crazy. Yeah. Right. I mean, Corolla greater than Civic. Truth.
Dude, honestly.
Honda Civics are another type of status symbol.
Especially when you have TCU stickers on them, because then you get extra horsepower.
You know.
Yeah.
I'm curious how many Cybertrucks are in Seattle. Not many at all. There's a ton of Tesla here. Every model you can think of. I think I've probably only seen 1 or 2 Cybertrucks. I think they're disgusting. I think they're terrible. Personally, I'm not a car guy. Give me a modern 2025 Toyota and I'm happy. Okay.
I wish, dude.
There's something in that. You know, can we talk about this new sport thing? Because I don't understand. I want to understand this. I don't get it. And do you actually like this, from what I understand, right? You actually are.
I'm not saying that. Yeah, I couldn't watch it for extended periods of times. I mean, it is a gnarly ass sport. Like, these dudes are literally standing at one end of a runway, on either end of a little runway, and one's got a football and one doesn't, and they're just running into each other without pads or any type of protection. And multiple dudes in this clip got knocked out, and it's just, there's no other way to describe it other than it's nasty, dude. It's absolutely nasty. And I could never, it's like the whole slapping league that Dana White started. I'm not here for that. I can do UFC because there's some respect in that. You know, it's mixed martial arts. Like, okay. But this slapping stuff or this thing where these guys run into each other is just, nah, I'm good, dude. I'll pass.
Bro. Why? What are these two meatheads? Oh, good gracious. Why? I don't get it, dude. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I want to understand it. And if somebody wants to help me understand it, bruh, I'm here for you. I don't get it. I do not get it. I do not understand it. Why? Yeah, I'll stick to football. Right?
At least they're wearing a helmet, right?
Right. And yeah, this is worse than the Dana White slapping thing. Why? Why, man? That I don't understand. It's just not my. It's not my jam. I would pay big money to watch James and Beatty.
Hold up. Bro, James just said, Johnny, my car is fun, but compared to a 911 GT3, no comparison. And with no turbo, it's more reliable. Brother.
God, we almost made it. James, you were so close to Valhalla.
Dude.
You almost made it through an entire, and it's never happened. It's never happened. You almost
this is
made
more
it.
Reliable.
You almost made it.
You think this is more reliable than even Monty's? No. Come on, bro.
No.
You're awesome, dude, but come on, dude. Come on.
I mean, I don't know how to break it to you, buddy. If you look at like even a 997, 911 GT, let me put this picture in here. Because I've had this picture sitting on my desktop for like 6 months. This is the alleged nicest 911 in the world. To 997.
Mm-hmm.
911 GT3 RS 4.0, 842 miles. It sold for $1.26 million.
Yeah.
And you think you're nicer than that? You think yours is more reliable than that?
James is now clarified.
Or
he says no, the 4-liter flat 6 is more reliable than the 3.8-liter turbo flat 6.
Bro, I know a little something about nice cars. You like the man purse?
I do.
So do I. James, bro, you got to stick to bananas and trees and vines and stuff, because you no. Yeah, I'm not playing your game. I'm not, and a gray, cloudy day as well. Dude, the picture angle does not help you, James. What do you mean? This
of
one?
The car. Of the car.
The car. No, the car's terrible.
Notice, put the Porsche back on the screen.
It's what James needs, though. That's his, and I'm not judging him for that.
Notice the camera angle difference.
Yeah. Just a little. Man, that's... I'm never spending that kind of bread on a car, I'll be honest with you. But the dent in its fender, LOL. I'm saying, stick to bananas, right? Stick to bananas, LOL. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need a Civic pick with James standing next to it. I think we do. Monty, use AI to put James' pick in a Civic pick. No, James is going to take a pick. He'll send it to us. Scotty Kilmer dislikes turbos because they add complexity, leading to lower reliability and higher repair costs in comparison to naturally aspirated engines.
And see, I just disagree. I think that...
all in how you drive it.
Yeah, I think if you drive it properly, you're never going to have a problem. When you beat on a car, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah. I would agree with that. But that's just me. I'm just...
There you go. All right. Great show as always. Nice.
Great show. James, love you, dude. Thank you, Husker. That's what I'm saying. Oh, yeah, that's what you were saying. You couldn't find the words. Which is fine. All right, one more show tomorrow before Thanksgiving break. The Monty Show, as always, for the Advocates at theadvocates.com. Appreciate you spending 3 hours with us every day. Appreciate you guys doing everything you do. If your naturally aspirated V6 happens to get hit by a semi-truck, make sure you call the Advocate. Find them online 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. No matter where you are, the Advocates are ready to serve you, man. And the best part is you never reach into your pocket because you don't pay the Advocates unless and until they win your case. At theadvocates.com. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.